Live from the AM1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM1310 WDPN.
Everybody on their feet love it. Peterson buries it. Wow. He's an all-star.
Leonard dribbling around trouble. Leonard getting high in the air and throwing it down.
Well, they'll miss one every once in a while. What a slam. How making a difference since he came on.
1310 WDPN. Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show. Pretty good highlights there last night. No Cavs highlights, no Buckeyes highlights. There's some good stuff around the NBA and college hoops last night. Before we go any further, we have so much stuff to get to today. We got a couple of interviews kind of quick off the bat for you this afternoon. We're going to check in with Alliance head basketball coach Chet Harper at 3:20 today. Massillon head basketball coach Josh Hose at 3:35 today. So we'll get the high school hoops talk in today on this Tuesday. But any second now, the Cavs could make a blockbuster deal or two or three. Who knows? The James Harden, Darius, Garland rumors are getting scorching hot right now. Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Cavs have reached out to the Bucks. They've had conversations. Other teams are in the mix too. There's a lot going on with the Cavs in the NBA. Don't forget the trade deadline is 3:00 on Thursday. There's a lot going on today in the NBA. We're going to get to that. Todd Monken had his press conference up in Berea today. We're going to play some of that back for you today. We'll also get a couple of comments in from Uncle Jimmy Haslam. We're also going to get a couple of comments from Roger Goodell, who held the State of the NFL address last night out in California. He had some interesting takes on why Bill Belichick, not a first ballot Hall of Famer, and what Bad Bunny he thinks will bring to the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Oh, you don't want to miss those comments. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can always text us at 330-924-7088. You can drop your comments on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel in the chat section. We make that a big part of the show every day as well, so we welcome your comments on any of the topics that we talked about or anything else that is on your mind. Just jump in there and chat away, and we'll chat back. We'll chat back to you. We got high school hoops tonight on 1310 WDPN. Christian's got the call. Big E BC matchup tonight around 6:45. No FM basketball tonight. No game over on the FM tonight. We're taking a break tonight. We'll be back on Friday with Jackson and McKinley. Just wanted to get that out there. Top 25 college basketball poll has been released. Miami Redhawks, 22-0. They're ranked 23rd in the country. They're in action tonight. Any more news on LeBron? Super Bowl is coming up Sunday. Patriots and Seahawks continue their preparations out in Santa Clara. Don't forget Ross Benjamin from Wager Talk is going to join us Thursday at 4:35, not only to give us his picks on the game, the side, the total. He's going to go in depth for you on Thursday. He's also got a bunch of Super Bowl prop picks picked out, and we're gonna dive into that. So Ross Benjamin, Thursday, 4:35. Don't forget. Mike Feuline, Mount Union basketball coach, 3:35 on Thursday. We got a lot of stuff going on. But I got to tell you, last night may have been one of the worst bad beats I have ever been a part of. as far as sports betting and wagering and what have you. Yesterday, we gave out on Sammy's Best Bet, which we do every Monday through Friday at 4:29 here on the show. We gave you North Carolina minus 11.5 against Syracuse. North Carolina led this game by as many as 32 points in the second half. 32. They end up winning the game by 10. It was earth-shattering bad. I mean, if you watch the last 7 or 8 minutes of that game, you, like me, would be ready to file a federal investigation of what happened between North Carolina and Syracuse last night in Chapel Hill. Something stinks about what happened down the stretch last night. I just want to get that out of the way before we come back strong again tonight with our best bet at 4:29. All right, let's get out to the big two things today. Cavaliers are not only in the mix on a couple of big trades. I think the conversations are really, really far down the road. Now, things could fall apart. There could be some questions that maybe a team or two cannot get answered. Here's another report. Chris Haynes from the NBA, Clippers and Cavaliers have ramped up conversations on a James Harden, Darius Garland package. He says both sides are motivated to executing a deal relatively soon, according to league sources. So this just isn't a bunch of chit-chat, jibber-jabber. This is like taking on a life of its own. Late last night, word started coming out. I'm like, what is going on? My phone was just going crazy at like 11:30 last night, 11:45. And I was like, oh, yeah, 3-hour difference. So they're just, it's only 8 o'clock out there. They're working deals because the Cavs are going to – actually, the Cavs actually are going to play the Clippers tomorrow night in L.A. at 10 o'clock. But the Cavs are on this West Coast swing. They played in Portland Sunday. They were off yesterday, today, and they'll have the Clippers tomorrow night. So I'm thinking, well, if you're going to do a trade, it might make sense while both teams are going to be in the same city. You could just swap out players. So it started really ramping up at about 11 o'clock last night, midnight, 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. I got to go to bed. I got to get up at 6:50. I got to go to bed. Please, dear God, don't make a trade while I'm sleeping. Woke up this morning. First thing I did was check the phone. Nothing. But then about 10 o'clock this morning, at 11 o'clock again, started getting hot on the rumor trail. And then you start looking at some other stuff, the Cavs and the Milwaukee Bucks. And who would be a third or fourth team to get involved in that deal? Or would one of these trades lead to another big trade that could lead to another big trade at the end of the day on Wednesday or Thursday? So there's a lot going on here. Our poll question of the day, would you trade Darius Garland to the Clippers for James Harden? That's our poll question of the day. You can take that poll quiz at AM1310WDPN on X, on the WDPN Facebook page, my Facebook page. I don't care where you go. Just get your comments in. You can also drop them on our Q92 Radio YouTube chat. Poll question of the day. Would you trade Darius Garland to the Clippers for James Harden?
Cole on Facebook has a strong opinion about that. He says James Harden is a cancer. So I think that's a no for him.
Yeah, that's a no.
That's a big no.
Cole also says, oh, sorry, man, I had North Carolina last night too. Yep, you weren't the only one, Cole. Mick checking in. Sam, what game are you doing tonight? No game tonight, Mick. No game on the FM tonight. We'll be back Friday, Jackson McKinley at 6:45. I do not want James Harden. And I had to take a long breath there. I thought about it last night. I looked at the age gap I looked at James Harden's never won anything in his life. Everywhere he goes, there seems to be a problem or problems, and he wants to get out. He shrinks up during the playoffs. I don't really like his style of play. It kind of puts me to sleep. Now, he can score, and he's gotten a lot better at assisting, but no, I'm going to take a pass. I'm going to take a pass on the 36-year-old James Harden. No, not doing it. Now, if it leads to another deal for Giannis, I'm all in. But things get kind of tricky there. Dong Bobbler, Cavs need. I can't read that.
The Cavs need to win ASAP. The Core 4 era has proven that it will not work.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think if you kind of read the tea leaves a little bit, I think the Cavaliers in the front office are kind of telling you without telling you that the Core 4 is probably done. And that's Allen, Mobley, Mitchell. Who am I forgetting?
Garland.
Oh, there's the first. Yeah, that's going to be going off all day today, so I probably should turn that down. Any NBA thing that comes over the internet is I'm going to get an alert. So I better just turn that. There's another one. Yep, I just better turn it off. I just better turn that off.
That'll be good. I'll know when to hit the breaking news button.
That's going to be going on all day. So, yeah, get those comments in. That's our poll question today. Any old way you can get them in. Would you trade Darius Garland to the Clippers for James Harden? Yes or no? 330-821-1310. Get those comments in on our social media platforms as well. Okay, let's do this, Rainsburg. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come right back. We'll jump into the conversation with Chet Harper.
Actually just hopped in if you want to go right to him.
You want to do that? Okay, what about our break then?
We can push back. We'll be okay.
We can push that back a little bit?
The coach is far more important than our commercials.
Okay, that's true.
Right. That's how I feel about it.
Especially when they're PSAs. That's just probably right. All right, let's go to, hey, I got to call it as I see it. All right, let's bring in Chet Harper, the outstanding head basketball coach of the Alliance Aviators, here to the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Chet hopping in the chat with us today. Coach, good afternoon. How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Hey, before we talk Alliance and your great success in the schedule, what did you follow the Cavs, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, what do you want him to do? There's a lot of rumors out there. Harden for Garland, maybe. They want to go take a shot at Giannis. They have to give up a bunch of guys. Where do you sit there? What do you think? What do you want him to do?
You know what? I think we're in the need for a bigger guard. So I kind of do like the Harden situation. If we're trying to win now, type deal. But Giannis would be the better fit. But how much do we got to give up to get him? So. It's a catch-22, but I think if you're just trying to make a push this year, maybe try Harden. But obviously, if we can get Giannis on your team, you definitely got a shot. So
yeah,
but you got so many pieces. That's just the thing.
Yeah. Plus, with the Giannis deal, I think we gotta bring another team into the loop.
We got to bring 3 teams in this thing, so that'd be tough.
Yeah, the one I saw yesterday that kind of made the most sense to me was the Cavs, the Bucks, and the Nets. Now the Cavs would have to give up Evan Mobley, have to give up Jared Tyson, and two pick swaps in 30 and 32. Max Strus would also leave and go to the Nets, and a couple of more pick swaps and a first rounder, and then we would get Giannis and his brother.
Right.
And that sounded the most doable to me.
Yeah.
But oh man, I don't know. I hate to give up on the core 4, as they say, but it looks like the organization is kind of ready to move on.
Look like we're running out of gas with that core.
Yeah.
This year, if they don't do nothing this year, it's kind of like, oh man, now we got to rebuild.
Right. But the East is wide open, Chet. You know what I
mean?
It is.
If we get another piece or two, we can be right there in the fold because the East is definitely wide open.
Well, if I get a trade alert during our interview, you'll know.
All right,
you'll be the first one to know. All right, let's get caught up with the Flyers now and the hoops. How are we feeling now as we get close to the stretch run of the season? How have you been playing? Who's been stepping up for you?
We've been playing pretty good. We got some big games coming here in the next week or two, right before the tournament start. We got about 7-8 guys playing pretty good right now. We're in the home stretch trying to win the league. We got a big game against West Branch. Winner take all for the league next Saturday. We got a very good Canfield team. I think they're like 16-2. We got them back to back actually Friday, Saturday. So
okay.
That's going to be a tough weekend there next weekend. But we got to take care of Worcester tonight and Marlington Friday to make it happen. But as a whole, we've been playing pretty solid. We got 8 seniors, so they still hungry and trying to figure this thing out and make this run.
Yeah, it's been a long saying that you win with seniors, and when eight, that's a pretty good group.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen a lot. You may get 2 or 3 or 4 some years, but then it's kind of spread out between junior, sophomore class, and maybe a freshman if he's really, really legit.
Right.
But you get 8, man. This is I don't know. Do you and the staff ever talk about it and say, hey, this is the year. This is maybe when we got to make a move.
Yeah, we felt that, last year coming into the season, we had a lot of young guys. We only had one returner, which was J.R. Jackson. And then, we had a lot of all JV guys, but those guys, again, they made a vow. They got in that gym and worked their butts off. And, last year we kind of surprised people winning 15 games. We had to let down in the tournament, but, we had all those guys back with a lot of experience. And we felt like we had another piece of Parker Woods, and we had all those guys back. We just felt like we could make a run this year.
Chet Harper is our guest, head basketball coach of the Alliance Aviators, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. The Aviators have Worcester tonight, and they got some big ones coming up here down the home stretch. Do you – how do I phrase this? Do you and the coaches, do you ever, I don't want to say – listen in or spy, but you hear conversations in the gym on the floor with your players during a practice or for a game or whatever. Are they starting to think maybe like you guys are of, hey, we got a band together right now. Let's go as hard as we can, as long as we can, and see if we can make something happen. Do you catch that vibe off?
Yeah, we do. This group been like that all year, to tell you the truth, Sam. They felt like, hey, this is a year we could definitely make a run at whatever we want to do. We feel like, we can beat anybody on any given night if we playing well. And this group has been that way since the beginning of the season, actually, to tell you the truth. Mm-hmm. So they really believe in each other. We got a good group of guys that like each other genuinely. And every day at practice is a war out there. These guys we got teams red and white, and sometimes we got to stop practice because these guys are battling each other so hard out there. Like, we don't want nobody to get hurt.
You need to get out there. You need to get out there and put a jersey on, Chet.
Yeah. I wish I still could. Trust me.
Get out there, throw a couple up, throw that down real quick.
Right. Only thing I'm doing now is shooting. That's it.
Hey, score. Hey, at the end of the day, it's who puts the ball in the hole, right?
Right.
As we move here toward, I think the tournament drawings are a week from this Sunday?
February 15th to be exact for us. For Division 3 is February 15th, next Sunday.
And of course you'll handle that when it comes up, and I'm sure you're going to get a nice seed. You guys get to kind of pick where you want to go, and you'll have a lot of conversations about that. Are you pretty much squared away now with your rotation and not just the starting 5, but guys 6, 7, 8, 9? You pretty much where you want to be there?
Yeah, you know what? We pretty much where we want to be with that, as far as going. We most of the nights we play 9, 10 guys pretty much on the most, consistent basis. So we are definitely set, but as far as our rotation right now. So like I said, those guys, they know their roles right now, and that's what it is. At this point in the season, we in game 17, 18. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you guys got 4 more games coming up here. Has there been a guy that's really super impressed you the last couple of weeks, maybe kind of riding up the ladder a little bit as far as?
Yeah, we had a couple guys playing really well right now. We had Cash Briscoe's been playing really well. Mm-hmm. Channing Jaleeson been playing pretty well. I mean, like I said, our bench guys, like, Braylon Sears was a starter for us last year, so now he's coming off the bench. But so, we got a solid 8, 9 guys that's really playing well that we can put in there. Tajay Nicholson's another one. I mean, we can play, like we said, we play 9, pretty much 10 most nights, rotation wise. So that's why we felt we had a shot this year. We're pretty deep. Like I said, we got 10 strong guys basically that's playing, competing every day at practice, getting after each other. So looking towards the tournament, we're sitting in a good spot right now in the max RPI. I think we're second. So right now we're the second seed out of 50-something seed. So, we just got to finish strong and see where we go and get on the line and see who come after you. Basically, this year will be a little different than, the last 2. We had to wait a little bit and try to pick our way. But this year we'll see who picks us.
Yeah, you can set the tone now, being in that 2 slot. Hey, before I let you go, when you get ready for a game now, have you guys kind of toned the practices down a little bit as far as the length of them to rest the guys' legs a little bit? Or are you still going as hard as you've been going?
We kind of cut it back a little bit because we've been playing 2-3 games most of the time. So I think this is a break, after January where we get, we'll play 2 this week, and then it was supposed to be just 1 next week and then 1 the following week, but we had to reschedule weather for West Branch. But we definitely have cut it back now, trying to rest some legs and doing, more shooting and more detailed stuff as far as plays and stuff like that. So we definitely have cut it back a half an hour, 30, 40 minutes, from practice going 2 hours and 15 minutes. So we go about an hour and a half right now.
That's good. I bet the fellas appreciate that too.
Yeah, they do. We still do a little running at the end, but they don't enjoy that, but we still got to do that.
Still getting after them.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. I appreciate the time. Good luck tonight. Best of luck the rest of the way. I know we'll be in touch between now and then, but all the best, man. Stay healthy and go get them, okay?
Appreciate you.
You got you. You bet. Chet Harper, the outstanding head basketball coach of the Alliance Aviators, checking in here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. All right. We're going to take a break. We got the news and weather coming up at the bottom of the hour, and then we're going to head west to check in with what I think might be the best team in the county, and that's the Massillon Tigers. Josh Hose will join us at 3:35 here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Tiger fans, spread the word. Your guys coming up, 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. U.S. manufacturing gained momentum in January as factory output increased and business conditions improved. According to survey data released Monday, the Institute for Supply Management's headline measure of manufacturing activity hit its highest level since August 2022. S&P Global data showed output at U.S. factories grew at its fastest pace since May of that year. The S&P Global Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, rose to 52.4 in January from 51.8 in December. The PMI reading from the Institute of Supply Management jumped to 52.6 from 47.9, moving back into growth territory for the first time in a year. The Department of Justice opened a civil rights investigation after protesters interrupted worship at a Minnesota church January 18th. Church was targeted because one of its pastors has served as acting director of ICE's St. Paul field office. A live stream of the protest was posted on Black Lives Matter Minnesota's Facebook page, showing organizers interrupting the services and shouting, "Justice for Renee Good." 3 arrests were made on charges of violating the FACE Act, or Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. It prohibits the use of force or threat of force or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, or interfere with, or attempt to interfere with any person lawfully exercising or seeking to exercise the First Amendment right of religious freedom. The Coast Guard detained 3 suspected narco-terrorists in the eastern Pacific, northwest of Ecuador, preventing more than $33 million in illicit drugs from reaching U.S. borders. The arrests were made last week by the crew of Coast Guard cutter Seneca. The Coast Guard saying Thursday the efforts led to the apprehension of 3 suspected smugglers and seizure of more than 4,400 pounds of cocaine. It said in December it had seized more than 150,000 pounds of cocaine in the eastern Pacific, enough to create more than 57 million potentially lethal doses. Newly released FBI files showed Jeffrey Epstein was set to potentially cooperate with the feds in his sex trafficking case, with lawyers for both sides huddling 2 weeks before he died in jail. Federal prosecutors met with lawyers for the financier in July 2019 when his camp, quote, in very general terms, discussed the possibility of a resolution of the case and the possibility of the defendant's cooperation. Another document in the files references the same meeting with the feds, but notes defense counsel did not make a specific proposal and did not indicate what the nature of Epstein's cooperation might be, if any. Las Vegas house suspected of containing an illegal biological laboratory was raided over the weekend. Detectives worked with caution as they collected samples fearing they could contain HIV, malaria, or other potentially dangerous pathogens. Investigators were tipped off a week ago. The home was owned by a Chinese national in federal custody on charges related to the biolab found in Reedley, California in 2023. Hazardous materials team searched the house using drones and a robot to sample the air. Once inside, they found refrigerators, a freezer, and several unknown containers. More than 1,000 samples were sent to FBI testing facilities. 28 degrees at 3:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
29 degrees for your high today. Not really warm. No sign of spring yet. Mainly cloudy skies, maybe a flurry or two. Cloudy skies for the most part overnight. Our low 4 degrees. Bundle up. From the 3 News Weather Center, I'm Mark Johnson.
Of all the ways to get ahead in life, we're one of them. And we're legal. The John Tesh Radio Show.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room.
You're just trying to be better. We're just trying to help. The John Tesh Radio Show.
Join me for music and intelligence for your life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
It's intelligence for your life.
$13.10 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. Thanks to Alliance head coach Chet Harper for joining us for a couple of minutes this afternoon. Aviators are playing good ball, man. Division III, they can make a run. They can go to Dayton. There's no doubt in my mind. If they just keep playing, keep working, they can get there. Update on interview. Steve King from Brown's Daily Dose is going to have to switch on us. He is not going to be able to do today. He will be on tomorrow, sometime in the 3 or 4 o'clock hour tomorrow to talk Browns and talk Todd Monken and Jim Schwartz and all those good things. Steve King, Brown's Daily Dose, that will be tomorrow here on the show, 1310 WDPN. All right, I mentioned that I think the Alliance Aviators can go all the way to Dayton. And I have no hesitancy saying that whatsoever. There is another team in Stark County that I will say I have absolutely no hesitancy at all about the fact that I think they can go to Dayton and maybe go get a state championship in Division II. And that's the Massillon Washington Tigers, who are 13-1. They can score. They can defend. They're fun to watch. They are fun to watch. And they're still getting better. They're 14 games into the season, and they're getting better. That's a scary thing for some teams around here coming up. I can tell you that. That's scary. Coach, all set to go? All right, Coach is all set to go. Let's bring on Josh Hose, the outstanding head basketball coach of the Massillon Tigers, kind enough to join us here on 1310 WDPN. Coach, happy Tuesday. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Sam. How you doing? Sorry.
Hey, we're good. Hey, congrats on the start. Oh, not a start. Heck, the season's almost over. 13-1. You guys are playing so well. You had another nice win on Sunday. You got Akron East tonight. You got some big ones coming up here down the road. How you feeling about your club now, 14 games in out of the 22? What sticks out most to you?
Well, something we've been talking to the guys about is just consistency and, the development of just that high standard that you play with, when we're playing in Ursuline, when we're playing at Hawk and Alliance, et cetera, those teams and Hoover, and we haven't, it's nothing against the other teams, but sometimes you get those, you're not in the league. So you just get those games. It's just another game on the schedule. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We kind of go through the motions at times, but I think every team probably has that. I talked to Coach Bluey here after they beat Jackson. They played in their classic here, and they kind of looked like they were just a little bit, hungover. And it's just hard to get the kids up emotionally for games. So that's one thing we just keep challenging them to do is just play at the high standard, especially on the defensive end. And, we've had lapses there. Offensively, I think it takes care of itself if you take care of the defensive end. But I had a coach used to coach here, Bob Winters, reached out to me, and he made a comment about, a guy had told him once that, every team is not going to play, most teams are not going to play their best every night. And
right,
the good teams got to figure a way to win when they're not playing their best. And we're doing that right now. It's flirting with danger at times, but really good credit to our kids. They grind and they find ways to get it together in time to, put it run together and get us back in the game or get us a lead.
Now, you guys are on a really nice win streak. You haven't lost since December the 23rd. And I want to go back to that Ursuline game. I was Mother Nature was on my crap list. I'm going to tell you, we were all set to come over there. I was going to do my show in the gym that afternoon. We were going to do the Ursuline game. And then the weather happened, and you guys had to move it, and we couldn't do it Wednesday. And you guys get out there and you drop 100. How impressed were you with your kids that night and how they played against that competition?
Well, Ursuline put on us last year, and I apologize. It actually wasn't Mother Nature; it was the HVAC system here. We walked in the gym, and Bubba said it's like 40 degrees in there. But we would have loved to have you guys. But going against Ursuline, I mean, every year it's a battle with them. And so they took it to us up there last year. We didn't play well. It was another weather game. I mean, we had, drove up through a blizzard on the way up there, had some bus legs, and they just took it to us. And so, to play against a team that's got 2,000-point scores and they're only juniors and, a kid caliber, Jalen Gunther, and a really, really solid, well-coached team. I was impressed. I looked up. I told our coaches I didn't expect that result. I expected us to compete and have a chance to win. I didn't expect us to be able to go, get a 20-point win against the. And actually, what impressed me was that we kind of were able to wear them down throughout the game. And I think what helped us is our 6 guards being able to switch off on Gunther. Not a lot of teams have that, and so I think we were able to kind of, as he scored 30 against us, kind of keep him, somewhat, working hard to get those points. But that was a good win for us against a team every year against them. It's a battle. Oh yeah. I mean, Keith's been there for a long time and they just got kids, man. They play hard home and away. They're not afraid to, they don't duck anybody. You know what I mean? No. They play everybody they can. And that was a terrific win for you guys. And then you come back, you rip off wins against Perry, Harding, and Hawken. And then, you got East, Ellett, Worcester, McKinley, coming up Lake. You got a lot of games coming up here in a short amount of time. I imagine that's good though, right? Because you can stay in a rhythm, even though it might be a little, take a little toll on the legs a little bit. I agree. That's what we took Saturday off actually after the Friday game before we played Hawken. It was the debate. I was kind of kicking around in my head, but I really thought we just needed rest. Our style of play. Our main guys are playing a lot of minutes, so we just thought it was probably a good thing to come in fresh. It's one of those things. If it works out, great. If not, you're kicking yourself. But I was optimistic that we'd come in there fresh and we play well, and we did. And that stretch there that we had off, I think from Perry to Warren with the snow days and everything, I think that's a little bit of the lethargicness we showed on the floor that night was like you said, you're out of rhythm. You hear the pro guys say they hate those long breaks. They get in a rhythm. You kind of, follow along with your lifts and your practice plans and you're just, et cetera. So we'll get a stretch here. We're going to really get challenged, coming off a big win against a really good Hawken team on Sunday. We told our guys these next couple are key going into some big ones down the road, not getting ahead of ourselves. But yeah, we finished on a crescendo. Last year, I think our schedule, not by design, just we had some teams that were struggling down the stretch, and I think it hurt us getting into the tournament. Yep. So this year, I think we'll be battle tested, hopefully ready to go come March. Yeah, I mean, I like your schedule, how it ends down the road. You're gonna get challenged. You're gonna have some big crowds, some loud environments. I know the kids will feed off of that, and that'll be good for the program as a whole. Josh Hose is our guest, head basketball coach of the Massillon Tigers, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, and of course all of our social media platforms.
with the Tigers, you got 8 games to go. Some teams are down to 4 and maybe 5. And I just talked to Chet over Alliance. He says they're starting to ramp practices down a little bit, taking maybe a half hour off of it. You guys probably aren't there yet, are you?
We're going to get there. Like we just said with our schedule. I mean, for us, with being a late start with football, and then also having the week later with the tournament with D1, D2, we were able to bump a couple games back. I know when we talked to Jackson, we were like, hey, originally we were going to play the 20th, and then we were able to bump that back. DeBevic said, like, hey, let's go a week later so we don't have this long gap. And he actually filled that 20th date with Glen Oak. It was supposed to be our opener. So, we got some bigger school, like you said, opponents with some local ties that will have some good crowds, but it will definitely get us ready for the tournament. The good thing is we're not playing somebody we could turn around and play in a couple weeks, or a week.
Right.
So it'll be good for both teams that way. But we're still, we're kind of slowing it down. Yesterday was a little bit lighter practice with having game, day off, another game. So, we kind of adjusted, but hour and a half is kind of where people end up about this time of year, and it's kind of smart because we got a lot of guys. 6 of our 12 guys were in a long football season too, so we got to definitely monitor that and take care of their legs.
Do you guys, as a staff, have you started to maybe look ahead a little bit to the tournament drawings themselves? You kind of got an idea where you might be. Do you think about where you want to go, the brackets and things like that, or is it still a little bit too early for you?
I think all coaches start to look at just kind of things shaking out, but with the new format, it can change a little bit from night to night. As you look at it with the computer points. So we kind of eyeball some things, some teams we might match up well with, some teams we may not match up well with. So being a higher seed is a blessing and a curse at times because you go on and then you got to just kind of wait. We went through that last year, where sometimes you're in that like mid high seed that you 8, 9, 10, where you can kind of pick a team that you go in that bracket. So we kind of looked at it, and we got 7 divisions or districts that we can go into in the Northeast district. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that shakes out. There's a variable there with the one bracket goes out and plays one of the Northwest brackets. So you're looking at like maybe a St. John's or a Lima Senior, both really good teams. So, but you get to that point, you're playing somebody good anyways to go down to Wright State and Dayton. So you kind of roll the dice at that point.
Josh Hodes is our guest, Massillon head basketball coach here on 1310 WDPN. I was able to, we did call your Central game over there a couple of weeks ago, and the great environment there. And I finally got because you're so close to the floor there, not only you guys, but even the media upstairs were like right there. So I was just blown away with the athleticism, the quickness. Like, I knew Giorgio was good. I knew Isaiah was good. I know Jadis is good. But to see these guys in person, Coach, and just how skilled they are, man, there was times where it literally took my breath away watching them play.
Well, it could have been that in the 80 degrees and humid temperature that we had in the gym that night, too. So, I mean, yeah, that night was actually interesting. I know Central is a much different team when they're at 100%, and they were getting back their guys, but they weren't at 100%. So we got lucky that night that they missed some shots. But I think some of that was our tempo. I see fatigue kind of leaking into them late in that first half, and definitely in the second half. And so, that definitely having some guys that can get up and down the floor like that, and we're blessed to have 6 or 7 guys that can all handle the basketball. And I've told people, years, like, this was probably one of the highest, if not the highest, basketball IQ teams I've ever had as a coach or been around as a coach. And just, the not necessarily just, intelligence, but like just knowing where to cut, where to go, next pass should go, instincts, I guess, more than anything. And they're used to playing together. So there's a synergy there that they just kind of instinctually do. And when like Sunday, we had it going, it happens. And it's, very easy as a coach because you're not calling a lot. You're just kind of, talking to them during dead balls and getting the rotations going and, keeping guys fresh. So it can be a fun group when they get it going like that.
Coach, style of play always comes up at this time of the year. Are you guys comfortable? Obviously you can run up and down. Are you comfortable half court? Are you comfortable 3/4 court, handling pressure when it comes out of the pressing from the other side when it comes out of the blue? Are you comfortable with playing all styles of ball to get you where you want to go?
Well, actually, it's funny you say that because I told our guys we've almost seen every defense known to man this year. With just teams trying to throw different stuff at us and different styles. Even look at the Perry game. Coach Voel's a great coach, and definitely they tried to slow things down and kind of keep that tempo with them being a little shorthanded that night. So we saw that. Our game with Fitch was a little bit of a slugfest. Definitely with the Warren was a slugfest. It always is. And then you get in a game like CVCA was the track meet. Obviously our game with Alliance was a slugfest. Two teams just going at each other. So we've seen different things. I do believe that we're capable of playing in all those styles. We've seen some pressure. Luckily, again, blessed to have a lot of guys can handle the basketball. So we've been there before where you have one or two guys and you get pressed, you start to get stressed a little bit. But our guys do a good job against that and figuring out the changing defenses. So and it's good for us because come tournament time, there's a wrinkle coming at you that you haven't seen before. And so I would say that we prefer to play a full court up and down game, but we've also even ourselves that have modified some things and played in a half court at times. So you got to be able to be adaptable and be a chameleon this time of year as a team. And, I think our guys are capable of doing that.
Good stuff. Well, Coach, I promised you I'd get you out by 3:50. I lied. I got one more quick question I want to give to you.
Go for it. It's 3:49. You got time.
I know. I got a minute. And this is a fun one. Do you follow the Cavs? And if so, would you make that Garland for Harden trade or would you pull back?
It's funny, Smitty's sitting right next to me. He's a season ticket holder, and we were talking about that today. It's a tempting one just to find another guy with experience and they can handle the ball and get our guy off the ball. I'm going blank right now. Think about our game. Get Donovan Mitchell off the ball. Yeah. And I love Darius Garland when he's healthy, but he just hasn't been available. So we always tell our guys their best ability is availability. So I think they got to make a move some sort if they can improve themselves. With the East being kind of open this year, I'd probably do it. But there's some other guys out there I'd love to have too, but easier said than done. It's not NBA 2K.
Does one of those guys happen to wear number 34 for the Milwaukee Bucks? Would that be
Yeah.
If that happens, holy cow.
Maybe it's going to be one of those double trades. We'll get, by Thursday. It'll be real interesting, but
right.
Yeah. You can dream. That's what Cleveland people do, right? Cleveland fans. We're always looking for that next big thing, right?
That's all we can do.
Yep.
All right, brother. It's 3:50. Hit the road. I'll see you. Appreciate you coming on, and good luck tonight, okay?
Appreciate it, Sam. Thank you.
You got it. Josh Hose, the Massillon Tiger head basketball coach, stopping by here on the show, 1310 WDPN. I promised them, I said, I'll get you out of there by 3:50. It's 3:51. I was close. Let's take a break. Phone lines are open. Chat is open, 330-821-1310. All of our social media platforms. You can also drop your comments on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel in the chat there as well. And we'll come back and we'll get into it here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
Looking to launch a career in the skilled trades but don't know where to begin? Part-time service in the Ohio Army National Guard can help. You can kickstart your career by enlisting in one of our many trades-based jobs. Get paid to learn these skills and gain on-the-job training when you report to your unit 1 weekend a month or 2 weeks in the summer. To learn how the Guard can pay for your civilian trade certification, visit nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
High school basketball is on AM 1310 WDPN all season long. Brought to you by SARTA. I'm Christian Bigglesworth, calling boys and girls action from around the Eastern Buckeye Conference, the Alliance Aviators, the Marlington Dukes, and the West Branch Warriors. And this year, listen live and free on the AM1310 WDPN Facebook and X pages and the Q92 YouTube channel. High school basketball, powered by SARTA on AM1310 WDPN.
All right, I want to thank Massillon Tiger head basketball coach Josh Hose for joining us on the show. 1310 WDPN. Of course, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms on X, Facebook, Twitter, Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Massillon will play Akron East tonight. Should get a W there. Alliance, want to thank Coach Chet Harper for joining us earlier today. They've got Worcester, and they should get a W there tonight as well. 330-821-1310. 330-821-1310 is our number. I'm almost afraid of what's going to happen with the Cavs. I don't know if I want James Harden, but if it's the means to an end for another deal, then by all means, let's go. I'd love to get Giannis. At the end of the day, that's who I want. And if I got to give up some pieces, that's okay. I want Giannis in a Cavs uniform. I don't want James Harden.
Got a text from Buck. Sorry. He says, if the Cavs acquire Harden in a trade, Cleveland strip clubs will be booming.
Last time James was at a strip club in Cleveland, it didn't work out so well.
Oh, yeah. I could suss that out.
Yeah, so I don't know if... from Sham Sharania on ESPN, he's been breaking some trades here today. I want to kind of get you up to date here quick. Memphis Grizzlies are trading star forward Jaren Jackson Jr. He's the big piece there with John Kochner, Jock Landale, and Vince Williams Jr. to the Jazz for Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, Georgie Niang, who's been traded for the fourth time this year, and 3 future number 1 picks. Holy cow. I read somewhere where the Memphis Grizzlies have 13 number 1 picks stocked up right now. First-round picks, I should say. In Chicago, Minnesota, and Detroit have agreed to a multi-team deal that sends Jaden Ivory and Mike Conley Jr. to the Bulls, Kevin Herter and Dario Saric to the Pistons. Detroit will also receive a 2026 first-round protected swap from Minnesota. The Bulls are trading center Nikola Vucevic and a second-round pick to the Boston Celtics for Anthony Simmons and a second-round pick, sources tell ESPN. So there's 3 deals that have gone down today, and we got our eyes peeled on the Cavs, the Clippers, the Bucks, the Nets. There's all kinds of stuff going on out there. At the end of the day, nothing could happen, or this could be one of the biggest blockbuster deals in the history of the NBA. Don't forget the trade deadline is Thursday at 3 p.m. Trade deadline is Thursday at 3 p.m. Golden State has placed Draymond Green in trade talks, and his 14-year run with the team is in jeopardy. That also being reported about a half an hour ago. So the wheels are spinning right now as far as the NBA is concerned. Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. Would you trade Darius Garland to the LA Clippers for James Harden? Yes? No? 330-821-1310. Get your comments in on our social media platforms. Wow. I'm getting a lot of no's from everybody. Mike says 1,000 times no. Donna, no way. Bill, no. It's not the right trade. They should have traded for Ja Morant a few weeks ago. Mark G says no. Don, no. Lloyd, no. Mitchell wouldn't like that, I don't think. Phil says, no, sir. Pop says, yes. They're not good enough to win at all with what you've got. So why not? John says, no. Don, no. My guy, Don Ursetti, he says, only if the NBA changes the rules, stating you can play with 2 basketballs at the same time. That's a great point. George says, yes. Garland has trouble staying on the court. Harden is 25.4 a game, 8 assists and 5 rebounds. Let's go. Kathy says, no. Todd says, hell no, but it's Cleveland, so they probably will. Matt Jones, Matt, hope you're well. He says, I don't necessarily want Harden, but Garland's contract puts us in seriously bad financial position with no flexibility in sight. He says, I think Garland, Allen, and 2 or 3 first-round picks for Giannis is the right move personally. Let me think about that. Garland, Allen, and 2 or 3 first-round picks for Giannis. Garland and Allen. So I get to keep Mobley. And I get to keep Tyson. I might do that. I don't know if the Bucks would do that, Matt, but I would do that. Mike Martin says, no. Trade Garland for somebody else. Ryan says, no, I don't want Harden. David, no. Kim says, no. Doug says, Harden would be a bigger headache than LeBron. No thanks. Mark Kirkbride says, that's a big hell no. Matt's a season ticket holder. Yeah. Looks like about 85, 88% want nothing to do with James Harden. I kind of agree. I go get me Giannis. Go get me Giannis. Do what you have to do. But you got to keep Donovan. Anybody else is fair bait right now. The core 4 as we know it, probably done. I think the Cavs are telling everybody that, by the way, these talks are escalating. That's crazy. What were we saying before the year or a couple of years ago? Oh, the core 4. We got everybody lined up for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years. This team's going to be great. They're going to stick to getting. Core 4 might be cooked. That's how fast things happen in the NBA. All right, we got news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. 1 hour in, 2 more big hours to go. Hang with us, 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Bill and Hillary Clinton agreed to testify in person in the congressional probe into Jeffrey Epstein. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more.
The impasse has been broken. House Oversight Chair James Comer says the former president has agreed to give a transcribed, on-camera, closed-door deposition on February 27th, while former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will do the same thing the day before. Comer says the Clintons, quote, completely caved once it became clear the full House was poised to approve a contempt resolution. A vote to hold the couple in contempt of Congress could have led the Justice Department to pursue criminal charges against them.
The House today passing a short-term measure to end the government shutdown. The president is expected to sign it. Authorities in Arizona say the search for Nancy Guthrie, the missing mother of Today anchor Savannah Guthrie, has resulted in many tips. Police believe the 84-year-old was kidnapped from her Tucson home over the weekend. The Pima County Sheriff says some DNA samples came back, but there is no match to a suspect. This is ABC News.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Clint Marshall on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. 10 new single-family homes coming to Alliance's north side. City Council approved the project Monday night. The homes will be built in the Liberty Heights area on vacant lots cleared through the city's blight removal program and transferred to the Greater Alliance Development Corporation. The project aimed at supporting low-income neighborhoods. Build Ohio Acquisition and Holding Company will oversee construction with ground expected to be broken next month on the first 5 homes. Alliance Council has approved legislation aimed at boosting economic development, improving infrastructure, and supporting city employees. Council approved UDAG loans to help 2 businesses expand into Alliance. Dud Bites, doing business as Dudley Pizza, will receive $175,000 for a restaurant at 353 East Main Street. Baller Limited will receive about $620,000 for a women's athletic apparel store planned for 134 South Union. Both loans carry a 2% interest rate over 15 years. Council authorized contracts for wastewater treatment plant upgrades and move forward with plans to upgrade traffic signals along East State Street. Authorities approved weather emergency pay for city employees affected by the January 26th storm closure. An attempted murder charge filed against an Alliance man, 30-year-old Carl Baker, booked into the Stark County Jail after his arrest at a home on Beach Street Sunday. Police say he hit a woman with a hammer, stomped on her chest, choked her, and threatened to kill her. Baker also charged with felonious assault, strangulation, intimidation of a victim, and disrupting public service. He had an active warrant for a similar incident with the same victim January 3rd. Baker was arraigned in municipal court Monday, bond set at $500,000 with a preliminary hearing set for February 11th. Man accused of shooting a worker at Altman Hospital in June has been found not guilty by reason of insanity. Common Pleas Judge Frank Forshoni made the ruling Monday, saying 36-year-old James Fair of Canton was not able to understand the wrongfulness of his actions. Prosecutors say Fair, who was a patient at the hospital, took a security guard's gun and shot a patient care technician during a mental health crisis. Psychologists determined Fair suffers from a severe mental illness. The judge says the law does not allow for a prison sentence. The hearing in March will determine where Fair will be placed for treatment. Canton City Council took several actions Monday, approving new initiatives and funding measures. Lawmakers approved a roughly $85,000 grant to help the police department implement a victim notification system. Council also approved a $173,000 insurance settlement to demolish the damaged Ranch apartment building on 5th Street Northeast, a 75% tax break for Steve's Tailoring and Menswear on Cleveland Avenue Northwest, and water main extensions for the new Redwood housing development on Green Tree Avenue and the site of Lake Center Christian School in Lake Township. Louisville City Council approved 3 emergency measures Monday. WDPN's David Scherr reports.
A 2025 Ford F600 truck will be purchased for $70,913 from Sarchone Ford. Additional work will be done on the Aljancic Park restrooms by CCI Commercial Construction Company of Canton for $1,440, and 3 heart monitors will be purchased for the fire department from Zoll Medical of Massachusetts.
Lawmakers also added 2 full-time public works laborers, expedited construction programs, and authorized Finance Director Matthew Buck to testify against House Bill 503, which could limit local control of city income tax. One arrested Monday in connection with fraudulent invoices that cost a local business more than $70,000. 35-year-old Caitlin Schauer of Medina charged with grand theft and forgery. Uniontown police say between January 2024 and January of last year, Schauer created fake invoices at 3 business locations, receiving over $10,000 in unearned commissions. The victim, Dye Distributing LLC, had to repay more than $60,000. A popular local program will not be able to refund money lost to customers by theft. Tri-County Restaurant Association says it cannot replace the certificates lost after a former employee embezzled $212,000. Julianne Carpinelli was ordered to repay almost $150,000. The repository reports board members told certificate holders in an open house Sunday the insurance company had paid less than a third of the amount stolen during the 2 years before the embezzlement was discovered in July 2023. Only member restaurants that accepted the certificates before payments stopped will be reimbursed. Pilot and passenger in Sunday's small plane crash in Portage County have been identified. 47-year-old Brian Jorgensen His 12-year-old daughter were injured when their Piper Cub crashed near Ranfield Road in Brimfield Township after experiencing engine trouble. Both sustained non-life-threatening injuries. The aircraft had departed from Wadsworth Airport and was returning when it went down. 27 degrees at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000. A lot of clouds today, maybe a peak of sunshine here and there through the afternoon, a high near 29 degrees, maybe a flurry as well. Overnight, mainly cloudy skies, our low 4 degrees above zero. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Everybody on their feet and love it. Peterson buries it. Wow.
Leonard dribbling around trouble. Leonard getting high in the air and throwing it down.
Well, they'll miss one every once in a while. What a slam. How making a difference since he came on.
A lot of high-flying, slam-dunking buzzer beaters last night in college hoops. A lot of big games coming up tonight. A couple you kind of want to keep your eye on. Of course, hey, what the heck? Miami Redhawks are going to be in Buffalo tonight at 6:30 to take on the Bulls. Miami 22-0 on the season. Can they make it 23? Zips are in action tonight. Kent State's in action tonight. We'll see what happens. I had a couple friends text me last night. They said, you really think that the NCAA committee would keep Miami of Ohio out of the tournament if they went undefeated and didn't lose a game until the Mid-American Conference Championship game? I said, yeah. They said, you're nuts. I said, no, I'm not. I've seen this before. I've seen it before. They would rather throw in somebody from a Power 4 or even a mid-major, maybe with a little bigger name than Miami of Ohio, if they possibly could. I think Miami's going to run the table. Well, they have to win. They don't necessarily have to run the table. They just got to win the MAC championship game, the MAC tournament championship game. I think they could stumble, heck, 2 or 3 times here between now and then. But as long as they win the MAC title, then it doesn't matter because they get the automatic bid. But if I'm them, I don't, you might want to win them all just in case. I mean, if you blow the title game and you're 30-1 or something, I mean, I don't know. I've seen the committees over the years. I know how they work. It's like they almost have something against the Mid-American Conference for some reason. But anyhow, I'm a homer there. But anyway, that's kind of what I feel there. 330-821-1310 is our telephone number, 330-821-1310. I want to thank Chet Harper from Alliance, Josh Hose from Massillon for talking a little high school hoops with us earlier today. If you missed those interviews, they will be up in podcast a little bit after tonight's show on all of our social media platforms, so you can go back and listen to those at your leisure. Also, you can drop your comments in the Q92 Radio YouTube chat. A lot of folks getting in there today, and we'll be sure to repeat those comments on the show throughout the afternoon. We always appreciate that. We've got high school basketball tonight on 1310 WDPN. Christian's got the call. EBC matchup tonight at 6:45. And then Friday, Christian is back with another EBC game here on WDPN at 6:45. Friday night, Lee Foster and myself will be at Jackson as the Polar Bears will take on Kent McKinley. That'll be on Q92, 92.5 FM. That will be Friday night around 6:45. And I'll be doing my show from Jackson on Friday afternoon as well. So that's what we got coming up here this week. No NBA trade for the Cavs during the break. You didn't miss anything there. I've been getting more alerts today than I think I've ever gotten in my entire life. but nothing with the Cavs. Now I want to play a little cut for you. This is from
real quick. We got Tom on the phone to talk to you.
All right. I'll tell you what, Tom, hold tight for just a minute. I do want to get this cut in here real quick because it could be time sensitive. You never know. Bobby Marks from ESPN, he breaks down what it would take for this big Cavs trade with the Clippers to go through and maybe some other moves down the road. It's about a minute and 5 seconds. I want to get this on here. Bobby Marks from ESPN.
Let's talk Cavaliers and Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're just looking at, and as Brian said, I think if we're just looking at math, right, it's simple. Harden makes $39.2 million and Garland makes $39.4 million. So that works. Here's where it gets complicated, Hannah. Harden has a de facto no trade clause. He dictates as far as where he wants to go in a trade. So anything in a trade, he has to approve. The other thing is, when he did the deal, the Clippers gave him a 15% trade bonus in his contract. That's worth $2.3 million. However, for this trade to happen, he would have to waive that bonus because remember, Cleveland is a second apron team. They can't take back more money here. So those are two factors. And then as Brian mentioned before, that contract next year, that salary is only partially guaranteed. So when you look at it right here, that works. It's basically a swap, but they're going to have to get through some mechanics here as far as waiving that no trade clause and also waiving also the 15% trade bonus here. So there's some things to work around the edges there.
All right, there's Bobby Marks from ESPN. The more I hear stuff like that, that makes me feel better that they will not make this move because James Harden's not giving up any money. So maybe that's a good thing, but we'll keep our eyes posted on that. All right, phones are open, 330-821-1310. Lots to talk about here this afternoon. Tom in Salem, welcome to the show, 1310 WDPN. How we doing?
Sammy, my radio brother, what is new?
Hello, Tom. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did we lose him?
Tom is not there. Maybe he'll. Maybe he'll. Tom, call back if you get a chance. So. What Bobby Marks just said there about all of there's a lot of moving. Like it sounds simple, like, okay, well, just trade one guy for one guy. The money matches up and you're good to go. But sometimes it's not that simple. Sometimes it's not that easy with all these clauses and bonuses and promises and little things that are made. Maybe that's going to be too much. What did Sham just put out here? Okay. This is from NBA Central. He says there's a pathway. Listen to this. Now we're getting into goofy stuff. But NBA Central is it's legit. They get 2.1 million followers. So yeah, it says there's a pathway for the Cavs to acquire James Harden, Giannis, and LeBron. And it says step 1, trade Darius for James Harden. 2, trade Evan Mobley and picks for Giannis. Step 3, sign LeBron James as a free agent. Yeah, that'll be easy to do. We got Tom in Salem. You're on 1310 WDPN. Tomas, good afternoon.
You hearing me now, sir?
Now I got you. Don't move.
All righty. I'm staying right here under the tree.
Okay. What's going on?
I got to tell you, brother, there's a lot to talk about here, but you are spot on about Miami being undefeated, and probably they have to win them all to make the tournament.
Yeah.
I think that is a 100% accurate statement.
Yeah, I hate that too, because geez, if you win 30 or 31, and I know Miami's schedule is a little watered down. I get it. But they've played some tough teams here, tough MAC teams on the road, and have won. The target is so big now, there's got to be pressure that they're feeling. Oxford is just going crazy about this team now. They're selling games out, which they've never done before. Almost 11,000 people at Millett Hall. But yeah, Tom, I
more than Ohio State.
Yeah, right. Oh God, that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, I mean, I got the feeling Miami's going to have to run the board here to get in. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, if you remember, Buffalo went undefeated for a big portion of the season.
Yep.
And then they lost, and then they didn't get in.
Yep. And how ironic is this? They play each other tonight.
Yeah, that is the ironic bowl tonight.
Yes.
But Sam, I got to tell you, I was listening to your interview with the Massillon coach, and in the past when Massillon's they've had good basketball teams. That's because they've had great football teams, and all the athletes play basketball.
Yep.
Well, this year you still have the good football team, but now you have an exceptional basketball team.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, Sam, I'm surprised Harden even stayed with them.
Yeah, they did battle Massillon that night. It was like a 10, 12-point game at the end, right?
Yeah. I don't know what to say, Sam. I mean, they won at Ursuline this year. They won 55-52.
Yeah.
I was there. I went to the game. And I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be great. They're going to have a nice season. They start out 4-0, and now they're 5-11. I've never seen that before, Sam.
Times quickly change there. But yeah.
I don't know what to say, Sam.
I don't know. I mean, Ursuline's good year in, year out. Keith Gunther's a great coach. And then, but yeah, when you guys beat them, I thought, okay, maybe the Raiders got a little something. And then, yeah, they've kind of fallen on hard times.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, Sam, we're the only team in the Mahoning Valley that has 9 straight 20-win seasons. And, I don't know, are we ever going to see one again? I don't know what to say. I'm living in a world I do not understand, Sam.
Yep. Yeah, I think I could use that quote probably 1 or 2 times a day with everything that goes on in the world, right?
I'll tell you this, though, Sam. I listened to the show all last week. I didn't get a chance to call. But, one thing, Sam, are you missing Art Modell yet?
Tom, I'm telling you, yes, I am. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I am.
Yeah, then if you go back years ago, Sam, and I'm going to bring up another radio station from back in the day. Mike Trevisano interviewed Art Modell once back in 2011. I caught the whole show. I even taped it. I don't even know where I put the cassette. But it was a spectacular interview. And Governor Voinovich got word that he was going to be on being interviewed, and he insisted upon being on the air to try and refute what Art Modell had said. And Art Modell flat out just came out and said, the reason why we moved this team is I didn't have any money. If you remember, when Andre Rison got that $20 million contract,
Art had to take a loan out.
Had to borrow all that money.
Yeah, to pay him.
Yeah. So, if somebody tells you we're going to buy your team and then give you $250 million of spending cash, what would you do?
Yeah. I mean,
what would you do?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Art was, as far as I know, I mean, look, I wasn't there, but he didn't. I don't think he meddled. I don't think he pressed the buttons on his coach and GM to play certain people, to do different things, to do what they were told from on top of the mountain. I don't think he ever did that. And I don't know, but I don't think, look, Jimmy Haslam is a hack. I am so, you can ask anybody in our lobby today. We were watching the press conferences on a couple of the computers out in the lobby. We had the sound up and we were just kind of talking back and forth. Tom, I am so sick and tired of Jimmy Haslam and what he is about. I can't even listen to him talk anymore.
He's a clown show.
I can't.
It's like, Sam, when I listen to him talk, it reminds me of when I was a little kid and I used to have a CB radio. It was like listening to that. It's like listening to Haslam. And, Sam, the one thing about this whole thing from back in 95 is that, they wouldn't fix the stadium. They wouldn't do anything. He was taking his money and paying to fix municipal stadium. And somebody comes along and says, hey, we're going to give you nearly $1 billion for your team. And you're going to be hated. You're going to be reviled, but you're taking care of your family and your business. What would you do?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, if it was as dire as he said, I'm probably going to take the deal. But I will say this. What the hell did Art do with all of his money?
Yeah.
That's the problem that I have with it. Okay, you're broke, okay, and you can't do this and this, okay, so but how did you get to where you were? What did you do with all of your money?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Sam, it's like I just said a minute ago, I'm living in a world I do not understand. And even 30 years ago, you and I were growing up back then, and we're shaking our heads, know?
I don't know. I wish, it's such a travesty that things ended up the way that they did, and now we're stuck with this clown show up there right now.
The pro football game, Sam, has changed, and it's not like what it used to be. We grew up, Sam, you and I grew up loving the Browns, and at least they were competitive every year, even if they had a losing record. But now when they're just trash, and it's terrible to watch. But 62,000 people still buy tickets and show up. But and another thing, I know we're pressed for time here, Sam, but I want to tell you, this thing in Michigan is not over yet. I am hearing that Jabba the Hutt, there's job is on the line. He's going to be out of a job really soon, Sam. This is very serious, because now what you have is you've got all this sexual harassment. Players were bribing Sharon Moore for playing time, and said they were going to tell on him about his girlfriends and stuff. Sam, this is very serious.
Wow. What a mess.
It's going to get ugly.
What a mess. Good for them.
Yeah, I know. Ain't it great?
Good for them. Tom, always a pleasure, man.
It's always high, Sam.
I know. There's always interesting tidbits coming out of Ann Arbor. Tom, good to talk to you again, man. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
My radio brother. Catch you next week.
You got it. There he goes. Tom in Salem joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. I know there's probably a couple out of you, boy, Sam, you are really nasty about Jimmy Haslam. What did Jimmy Haslam ever do to you? Hey, I don't have to like everybody. Okay? I kind of like I have to respect people. I don't have to like everybody. That's not how I run. Okay? And what Tom was saying, we used to love the Browns. And I told all of you last week on the show, I said, I still love the Browns. Like, I love the Browns players. I love the tradition. I love the orange and the brown. I love the history. I don't love this organization at all. I don't love this administration, this ownership group at all. Zero. Like, I can't believe I'm going to say, I despise them of how they run that organization. I do. It is so cringeworthy to me to listen to Andrew Berry speak at the podium today and spitting out these ridiculous analytic numbers like we're supposed to understand what they're talking about and how great the process is. And they left no stone unturned and they cast the wide net. And we believe this hasn't worked. This hasn't worked at all. How can you sit up there and look into all those TV cameras and lie to people and say, we think this has worked. This is the best way to go about the hiring process. We believe in it. What do you believe in? What? No, this is terrible. This is terrible what you're doing. And then they trot Monken up there. Okay. He spoke for about 30 minutes, answered the question, and we're going to play some of it for you coming up here after the hour at 4:30. And then Jimmy went up there and sidestepped a couple of questions. It's just so frustrating to me. They make it so difficult. I know some of you will be with the Browns till you die, and that's fine. But I cannot give my heart and soul to this organization. I just can't do it. The players, I'm there with you. I'm there for you. I'm rooting for you. I'm pulling for you. But I just can't. I just can't. That would be the biggest Christmas present I could get, is for the Haslams to just sell the team. If I woke up to that news, as out of shape as I am right now, I would walk to Berea and do the happy dance. I would. All right. It's time for Sammy's Best Bet. We do it Monday through Friday at 4:29 here on the show, 1310 WDPN. All right. Last night, folks, we got the screws put to us. We did. We gave out North Carolina last night, minus 11.5 against Syracuse. North Carolina led by 32 points, 32 in the second half, and they didn't cover. I've never seen anything like it. They won by 10. That was bad. But tonight, I almost hate to do this, but I got a little feeling. Miami at Buffalo. The Red Hawks are 22-0. Buffalo's 14-8. The game is at UB Arena. Miami is giving 5.5. I think the magic comes to an end tonight. Remember back on January 17th, Miami won this game 105-102. They barely hung on for dear life. Funny things happen in Buffalo at that arena. Ask the Akron Zips and Kent State over the years. I just got a feeling, man. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take Buffalo tonight plus the 5.5 against Miami. I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo wins this game outright. That's not what I'm rooting for. Don't misconstrue here. I just think tonight might be a tough night. But anyhow, take Buffalo plus the 5.5 tonight at home against the Miami Redhawks. That's Sammy B's Best Bet. Monday through Friday, 4:29, right here, 1310 WDPN. The news is next.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. The House has passed a spending bill that ends a partial government shutdown that began Friday night. It gives lawmakers until February 13th to reach a broader agreement on Homeland Security funding. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy with more on what's to come over the next 10 days.
Ahead of the next funding deadline in a week and a half, Democrats will push for reforms at ICE and at Customs and Border Protection. Republicans will push for what's called the SAVE Act.
The SAVE Act just simply says you have to have verification of citizenship to register to vote.
That's how Speaker Mike Johnson's failure to reach agreement on Homeland Security funding could impact agencies such as FEMA, the Coast Guard, and the TSA. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
After months of defiance, former President Clinton, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have agreed to comply with the House's Jeffrey Epstein investigation. ABC's Jay O'Brien reports.
Late last night, there was an agreement where the Clintons said, we will come in, we will do a behind closed doors deposition. Republicans on the panel digested that. They gave additional demands to the Clintons by a noon deadline today that the Clintons had to respond to. And now we are learning that, yes, there will be behind closed doors depositions of both Bill and Hillary Clinton, one on February 26th, the other on February 27th.
Senior U.S. and Iranian officials poised to meet in Turkey this week. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner expected to join talks with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in Istanbul Friday. The foreign ministers of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Pakistan, and Oman have also been invited to join. Talks could be broken into two tracks, with one addressing Iran's nuclear program, the other a wider set of issues, including U.S. demands for curbs on Iran's missile program. Judge appointed by President Biden ruled the government could not end temporary protected status for Haitian nationals in the U.S. District Judge Anna Reyes held the administration's decision announced in November violated federal law. The text of the TPS quasi-amnesty law bars judges' intervention in TPS decisions, but Reyes, an immigrant and Harvard graduate, claims she's still allowed to review the process. She said the administration's process was illegitimate because skilled U.S.-based Haitians do not want to go home to their island because it's governed badly. The decision also begins and ends with the claim the decision to withdraw TPS is bad economics and bad for foreign migrants. Two of Elon Musk's companies merged Monday with a combined goal of launching a constellation of 1 million satellites to operate as orbital data centers to power artificial intelligence innovations. SpaceX acquired xAI to develop the most ambitious, vertically integrated innovation engine on and off Earth. With AI, rockets, space-based internet, direct-to-mobile device communications, and social media platform X, current advances in AI largely dependent on building data centers, which need immense amounts of land, power, and cooling. Musk said the satellites will use solar power with little operating or maintenance costs. 27 degrees at 4:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast from Mark Johnson on AM 1310 WDPN.
Cloudy skies for the most part through your Tuesday afternoon. Can't rule out a little isolated snowflake or two by late in the day. 29 degrees for the high. Overnight tonight, staying mostly cloudy, our low near 4. From the 3 News Weather Center, I'm Mark Johnson.
Yeah, if the Haslams sell, I will party like it's 1999. You have my word on that. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. Phone lines open, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. You can drop your comments on our social media platforms. And don't forget, if you check us out on WDPN, on X, on Facebook, Twitter, make sure you drop your comments, like, share, follow, all those cool things. And the Q92 Radio YouTube page, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That would be awesome as well. Coming up here in a couple of minutes, we're going to hear a little bit of the press conference today from Todd Monken as he met the media for the first time up in Berea. And we're not going to play you the opening remarks. We're going to get you right into the Q&A. That's where the meat and potatoes are of that press conference, and that's where we're going to start with coming up here in a couple of minutes. NBA Central on X, quote, Darius Garland is getting in his head that he's going to be a Clipper. James Harden is getting in his head he's going to be a Cav. Courtesy of Brian Windhurst, ESPN. Boy, it looks like this is going to happen. Holy cow. I don't know.
Got Dong Bobbler on YouTube says, Cavs will never win anything with Garland. Give me the older superstar and then make a run at Giannis. I kind of get how everybody's coming at it from the just use Harden as a trading piece angle.
I'm good there.
I'm
good with that.
Yeah.
But now you got some fans, they want Harden, they want Giannis, they want them both.
You don't need Harden and Giannis. That's overkill.
I mean, there's only one basketball. And don't forget about Donovan Mitchell, for God's sake.
Right.
Let's not throw him out in the water. I mean, that's our guy. He's the face of our franchise.
He scores, half the points?
Yeah, he needs the ball, too. Let's see. Also, courtesy of Bleacher Report. Boy, it's funny how when you talk about things, it immediately pops up in your feed.
You use funny, I use creepy.
This from Bleacher Report. What were we talking about yesterday? What post I put up yesterday about Bryce James, LeBron James, and Bronny Jr. all playing for the
Yeah.
Boom. Here we go. Bleacher Report. Bryce James has chosen to redshirt his freshman season at Arizona per head coach Tommy Lloyd. He has not made a single appearance for the Wildcats yet this year. So he will be redshirting, and I guarantee he won't be there next year. This is fascinating. Don't forget the NBA trade deadline, 3:00 on Thursday afternoon. Could the Cavs get Giannis? Could they trade for Harden? In some crazy, twisted world, do we end up with Giannis, Harden, and LeBron? By the end of hey, anything is possible. You know how the real smart people work these numbers? It's anything is possible in the NBA. Anything is possible. I don't know how this is going to all end. I can't really wait till 3:00 on Thursday to see what happens, but I kind of want to enjoy all the excitement. This is like the buildup before we had our big snow. We talked about it for days, week, about how many we're going to get. Are we going to get 2 feet of snow, 1 foot of snow? How cold is it going to be? How many times we're going to have school closed? This or that, the other, yada, yada, yada. It was like the buildup. It was fun. And then we got it. And then we were miserable. We had to dig out. And now we've been talking about this pretty good for the last 2 or 3 days. And it seems like it's ready to hit a crescendo here soon. So I don't know. I think anything is possible. But I do know this. The Cavaliers front office, i.e. Dan Gilbert and Kobe Altman, I think they're telling us that the ride with the core four is over.
Yeah, I
which
like
is
Mike.
Kind of sad. But
Mike, oops, sorry.
Go ahead.
Mike on YouTube is talking exactly about that right now. He says Cavs now favorites to win the East and third favorites to win the championship per FanDuel.
Yep.
That wouldn't be the case with the core four.
Yep.
Trades are happening.
Yeah. Well, and look,
that's a strong point.
The experts know. Vegas knows. The sports books know. They know. They know what's going on. They know what's going to happen, or they already know what has happened. And I've said this for years. Follow Vegas, man. They know. They know when they move odds, they know ahead of time. So something's going to give. I just don't know what. But something's going to drop. Keep it right here, AM1310 WDPN. Follow us on all your social media platforms. Give me a follow at Sam Bourquin 16 on X. That's BOURQUIN. I know. Weird spelling.
If you're watching on the stream, it's on your screen.
Yeah. A lot of people, how do you spell your name? At Sam Bourquin 16 on X. Give me a follow. I know I'm not the greatest follow on social, but I put some good stuff out there. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Sam Bourquin 16. But something's going down. Something's going to happen. It could be before we're done at 6. It could be tomorrow. It could be at 2:59 on Thursday afternoon. But if it drops, we'll have it. We'll talk about it. We'll get your feedback. We'll have some fun with it. So lots of stuff going on in the NBA. But we got to meet our new head football coach today. Todd Monken was at the podium up in Berea today, met with the media for the first time a little bit after 12 noon. Andrew Berry with a lot of word salad till about 12:08. And then he brought up the head coach, Todd Monken. Let's pick up some of the Q&A today from earlier up in Berea. Todd Monken, new Browns head coach, meets the media. Here it is, UDPN.
Secondly, I want to thank Andrew. Pointed that way, but you're right there. I want to thank Andrew Berry. Crazy enough, in 2019, when I interviewed here, my contact was Andrew, and actually was the first gentleman I met with when I came in the building. And I could tell right away that our alignment and his clear vision for how you build a roster and how you develop players, we were aligned. And I look forward to being connected at the hip and building this roster to a championship level, consistent championship level. He mentioned the last few years, getting an opportunity to work with Kirby Smart and John Harbaugh, two of the elites in the game. When you talk about getting a doctorate in coaching, wow. I owe a lot to them. They entrusted me to elevate the offenses at both places, which is a credit to the staff we had and the players we had, because you can't do it alone. You absolutely cannot do this alone. It takes an army, and I owe a lot of gratitude to them. But one thing I learned being with both of them, I always thought I understood what it meant to confront anything that gets in the way of winning football. And what's interesting is they get to the same point. They just do it completely differently. But it's an art, because ultimately, just like I would have with my son, just like our children, you're going to confront anything that gets in the way of helping them become the best version of them. And that's your job with something that you love. And that's something I've never taken for granted with any job I've ever had, is fighting to confront anything that gets in the way of winning football. And I owe a lot to Coach Harbaugh. He hired me out of Georgia, took a shot on a college coordinator, trying to elevate Lamar in the offense. And I learned a ton. He is elite at messaging with a team, especially with an NFL team, and how you deal with players and how you confront anything that gets in the way of winning without being confrontational. To me, that's an art. That's an art. Thank you, Coach. And then the last thing, shit. Told myself I wasn't going to cry, for God's sakes. I want to thank my mom and dad, no longer with us, my brothers, Tony and Ted. College roommates, drove up here to be here today. My father-in-law, Chuck, my son, Travis, proud of the man you've become, and his fiancée, Hannah. And my wife, Terry, been together 40 years, been married 34. Of course, she would say that's probably 6, because you're actually married to the game. So, but it's been an unbelievable journey. Thank you. I love you. Before I take any questions, I just want to, there's something that I've kind of always lived by as a position coach, as a coordinator, and I will as a head coach. And you know, Jim and Dee and Jimmy, they cut a check with my name on it. And you know what they expect? A freaking kick-ass football team. That's what they expect. And you know what they want? They want to become a winning franchise that our fan base in our region is proud of. That's all they've been about, is how you build a winning franchise that consistently competes for championships. You know what? My job is to prove it every single day, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And with that, let's go with some questions.
For questions, why don't we raise our hands and introduce yourself, even though you may already know Todd. Reintroduce yourself to him. Mary Kay?
Hi, Todd. Welcome back. Mary Kay Cabot, Cleveland.com, Cleveland Plain Dealer. Well, I guess I'll start right off the bat with the question probably everybody wants to know. Will you head into this offseason with Shedeur Sanders as your QB1? And if not, what is your approach to the whole quarterback situation as you move into your new job?
Well, I think like any position on the team, that's still to be determined. Am I excited about Shedeur? Am I excited about all the quarterbacks in the room? Am I excited to coach this football team? Absolutely. I can't wait for them to get back and for us to get started.
Joe Reedy, Associated Press. Todd, you mentioned in a Harbaugh Coaching Academy video your 2019 stint here. There was a lot of drama that the coaching staff couldn't control. Now that you're the head coach and learning from Kirby and Harbaugh, how do you manage that so that there isn't that drama?
Well, first off, I learned a lot in that 2019 season. I think you learned a lot In fact, you learn a heck of a lot more when things aren't going well than when it is going well. And I learned a lot of things that I would have done different, and I think collectively would have done different. And I've seen it from a different angle, different point of view. But I'm ready to move forward with this team, the 2026 team.
Chris?
Hey, Todd, Chris Easterling, Akron Beacon Journal. Just want to ask you, as a former quarterback, what is it you're specifically looking for in a quarterback? What is that trait? What are the traits that you feel like are critical for a successful quarterback, regardless of level?
Well, I'm just going to start with personality traits. I mean, when you talk about who's going to lead this team, who has the it factor, who has those characteristics that the team wants to follow and believes in them, because the ball's in their hand every down. This game's going to come down to 2-minute situations, 4-minute situations where you've got to be able to execute at a high level. And we're just talking about some of the characteristics that you're looking for, let alone some of the physical traits that we'll get a chance to talk about later.
Let's go Scott, Dan, and then Jimmy.
Hey, Todd, Scott Petra from the Chronicle Telegram. You said it was a long time coming. When did you first start to think about being an NFL head coach? And did you feel you'd come close before? And then what does it feel like finally now?
Well, first off, I played at Knox College, and my dad were high school coaches, and my uncles were high school coaches. So that was just a dream. But I've been part of a team since I've been 5 years old, the Purple Pounders of Wheaton, Illinois. And it's the coolest thing ever to be part of a team. Let's just put it that way, okay? All I ever wanted to do was be part of a team and coach football. That's all. I mean, other than my mom making an Evel Knievel outfit or an astronaut, I was a football player every Halloween. That's all I ever dressed up as. You name it, that's what I dressed up as. When I was a kid, everybody else was getting trains. They were getting Army men. I was getting football games. My dad, every single the little vibrating football game or talking football or rubber band football, every single game I ever got was about football. So all I ever want to do is coach and be part of a team. To me, it's not until you get into the NFL that you ever process like the opportunity could potentially be there to be a head coach in the NFL. Obviously, you have to probably reach the coordinator level to where that becomes a possibility. And there have been times before where I've been close. And I believe God put you at the right place at the right time. And that is now.
Dan Lobby, Cleveland.com. This kind of goes with Scott's question. Obviously, you've been saying it's a long time coming. Did you at any point think something like this wouldn't happen for you? And does that make this opportunity more meaningful for you?
For sure. I mean, I'm not getting any younger. I mean, let's be real honest here. Although I'll say this, that the version you're getting of me now is a hell of a lot better than it would have been 15, 20 years ago. So I'll at least say that. Okay, but you get to the point where this is God's plan, which is fine. To be an offensive coordinator in the NFL or even coach in the NFL, I don't think people really realize there's 32 NFL teams. There's approximately 68, I don't even know how many more there are, Power 4 jobs. So whatever job we have, be it in the NFL or a Power 4 school, there's only 100 of you in the whole world. That's all there is. Within a 30-mile radius, there might be 100 doctors, 100 attorneys. You talk about a small group, talking about an elite group of men. So sure, there's a time where you think that's not going to happen. But very appreciative for the jobs that I've had and the players that I've been around and the coaches that have helped me get to where I'm at, because you absolutely cannot do it alone.
Let's go Jimmy, then we're going to go Ashley, then we're going to go Terry.
Jimmy Watkins, Cleveland.com. Todd, you're known as a straight shooter. That's what they say about you. How do you set that culture of accountability in a way that doesn't turn players off, so to speak?
Great question. Like I said before, I think you have to hold the players accountable for what they say their dreams and aspirations are. You have to find out what really do you want individually with your career, and then what do you want collectively as a team? And all you're doing is holding them to what their goals and aspirations are, like people did for me. I am who I am because my parents did that for me. They didn't do that to me. They did that for me. And that's the way I go about it, is I think everybody likes honesty till they don't like what's said to them honestly. And I'm the same way. I'm no different. I like being stroked in a good way. I'm no different. I don't like the other side of it, but that's how I've gotten a lot better. And the people that love you the most, they're going to be honest with you. But all it is finding out what are your dreams and aspirations, and then let's fight like hell to achieve them.
Ashley Bastock, Cleveland.com. Just wondering, being in the division, like what your impression as a coordinator was of this defense, and if you've had a chance to talk to Jim or anything yet.
Give me that again, the last part.
If you've had a chance to talk to Jim Schwartz. Or
I have. Okay, so with that, I've had a chance to talk with Jim. But it's been a bitch, I apologize, to go against this defense 6 times over the last 3 years. Schematically, and more importantly, the players, because ultimately it's a player's game. That's what it is. It's our job as coaches to develop systems that allow your players to play fast. People talk about time speed. It's really not about time speed. It's about how they play on the field. And that's developing schemes, in my opinion, or systems, as Coach Harbaugh used to call it, with elegant simplicity, where they can function at a high level and play fast. And that's what you saw all the time with the guys that are here and the players that we have. But at the end of the day, I say this all the time. From an offense or defensive perspective, it starts with having elite players and then having an elite coaching staff with you. And then you can call the game freely because of that, because of the talent you have, and then because of the players, with the coaches that help it come to life. That's what makes a coordinator elite. It's not one individual person. And when we get ready for the Browns, when we used to get ready for the Browns, it'll be more fun and not have to worry about chipping 95 every down and distance. I can tell you that.
All right, there's Todd Monken, the new head football coach of the Cleveland Browns, as he met with the media for the first time today up in Berea. Your thoughts? I know we always would do this thing. Hey, did he win the press conference or grade the press conference? And, after taking that philosophy for years, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, does it? Ooh, did he win the press conference? Great. How many games did he win? How many games did he win? How many great decisions did he make? Did he bring the team together? Did he bring the organization together? Did people want to come here as free agents and play? I don't care about the press conference. Did he win the press conference? Everybody wins the press conference. It's what you do afterwards. But after listening to Todd Monken there for a little bit, I know a lot of you watched and listened to the whole press conference earlier today. Matter of fact, if you want to go back and listen to the whole thing, Q92 Sports on X, that whole interview there is there in its entirety if you want to go back and watch and listen to that. But I just want your initial reactions, your thoughts to Todd Monken at the podium today. What did you think? Did he give you hope? Is this the same old? Comparison to Kevin Stefanski, obviously a little bit more fire, a little more of a raspy voice, a little bit more of maybe a true football guy. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Your thoughts on the press conference today with Todd Monken. What did you think? Did you feel any better about the Browns than you did before? And if you did, why? And if you didn't, why not? Let me know. Let's take a break. 56 minutes past the hour. We'll step out. We'll come back. We'll get you up to the top of the hour here on 1310 WDPN.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
High school basketball is on AM 1310 WDPN all season long. Brought to you by SARTA. I'm Christian Bigglesworth, calling boys and girls action from around the Eastern Buckeye Conference, the Alliance Aviators, the Marlington Dukes, and the West Branch Warriors. And this year, listen live and free on the AM 1310 WDPN Facebook and X pages and the Q92 YouTube channel. High school basketball, powered by SARTA on AM 1310 WDPN.
How's Tommy doing now?
Much better.
You said it was asthma?
Yeah, he started with this cough and then he was wheezing.
That's terrifying.
Doctor said hidden triggers can make it worse. Things like dust, mold, even pests.
Pests?
Yeah, droppings and allergens from cockroaches and rodents can seriously impact children with asthma or allergies.
I had no idea.
We're making sure our home stays pest-free.
Don't let pests put your family's health at risk. Visit pestworld.org to learn more. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
All right, welcome back. Got about a minute to go before we get to the top of the hour. Clint Marshall ready to go with the 1310 WDPN news and the weather. In the meantime, don't forget tonight, high school basketball right here on 1310 WDPN. We will have Northwest at Marlington with the tip-off around 6:45. No game on FM tonight. We'll be back on Friday on Q92, Jackson and McKinley. That'll be Friday night on Q92. I'll be doing my show from Jackson High School about 2 o'clock on Friday. Christian will have another game as well from the EBC Friday night here on 1310 WDPN. And then don't forget Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock, Mount Union home against a very good Muskingum team in the OAC. This is a gotta-get game. It's going to be a big one. Hope to see you at the Mac Center. If you can't make it, you can join myself and Ryan Keller. 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon, Mount Union and Muskingum right here on your home of the Raiders, 1310 WDPN. News is next. Stay with us, everybody.
An important part of the Alliance community since 1953. You're listening to AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump this hour signing the funding package that was passed by the House earlier to end the partial government shutdown.
On this vote, the yeas are 217.
The vote mostly along party lines after Democrats pushed for changes to immigration operations. It's a short fix with funding set to run out again in less than 2 weeks. In Arizona, authorities are asking for the public's help to locate Nancy Guthrie, the missing mother of NBC Today anchor Savannah Guthrie. The 84-year-old kidnapped, police say, from her Tucson home last weekend. The Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos says they've also got DNA samples from the house.
We've submitted all kinds of samples for DNA, and we've gotten some back, but nothing to indicate any suspects.
House Oversight Chair James Comer says former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have agreed to transcribed and taped depositions in the committee's Epstein probe. Hillary Clinton set to appear February 26th. The next day, Bill Clinton will be deposed. This is ABC News.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on up. Plus 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then You may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabyte, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Clint Marshall on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. City officials moving ahead with a housing project aimed at revitalizing Northside neighborhood in Alliance. Council approved a plan Monday to build 10 new single-family homes in the Liberty Heights area. Homes will be constructed on vacant lots cleared through the city's blight removal program and turned over to the Greater Alliance Development Corporation, the city contributing $100,000 in HUD funding to support the project. City officials and Alliance stepping up efforts to address homelessness. Mayor Andy Grove says he met Friday with Canton Mayor Bill Shearer to learn how Canton is handling the issue. Grove says groups like the Canton-based Refuge of Hope, which operates a men's shelter and meal program, could serve as a model. The Salvation Army on East Main Street, one possible site for a similar facility. Homelessness has gained attention since a man froze to death in Alliance last month. Grove is working to form a task force including Alliance, Canton, Louisville, and Massillon. An Alliance man arraigned in municipal court Monday on charges including attempted murder and felonious assault. Bond was set at $500,000 for 30-year-old Carl Baker. Preliminary hearing scheduled for February 11th. Baker arrested Sunday at a home on Beach Street. He's also charged with strangulation, intimidation of a victim, and disrupting public service. Police say Baker hit a woman with a hammer, stomped her chest, choked her, and threatened to kill her. He had an active warrant for a similar incident with the same victim January 3rd. A Stark County judge says a man who shot a hospital worker during a mental health crisis cannot be sent to prison. 36-year-old James Fair of Canton was found not guilty by reason of insanity in connection with a June 2025 shooting at Altman Hospital. Prosecutors say Fair, who was a patient at the hospital, took a security officer's gun and shot a patient care technician. A psychologist testified Fair suffers from a severe mental illness and was not able to understand his actions at the time. The judge ordered a hearing in March to determine where Fair will receive treatment. Victims of crimes in Canton will soon receive automatic text updates about their cases. The police department was awarded about $85,000 from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services to purchase a victim notification system. They'll be alerted when an officer is dispatched if there are delays and when their case is closed. Lawmakers also approved measures, including a $173,000 insurance settlement to demolish the damaged ranch apartment building on 5th Street Northeast, a 75% tax break for Steve's Tailoring and Menswear on Cleveland Avenue Northwest to expand services, and water main extensions for the new Redwood housing development on Green Tree Avenue and site of Lake Center Christian School in Lake Township. A Medina woman facing charges for allegedly stealing more than $70,000 from an area business. 35-year-old Caitlin Shower accused of creating fake invoices between January 2024 and 2025, receiving over $10,000 in unearned commissions. The victim, Dye Distributing LLC, had to repay more than $60,000 to Utz Brands. Shower was arrested Monday and faces grand theft and forgery charges. She's scheduled to appear in Canton Municipal Court. Louisville City Council took emergency action Monday to support city operations and public safety. Council approved the purchase of a 2025 truck for $70,913 from Sarshone Ford, 3 new heart monitors for the fire department, and renovations to the Aljancic Park restrooms. The measures also expedite construction programs and add 2 full-time laborers to the Public Works Department. Certificates from the Tri-County Restaurant Program cannot be redeemed. The repository reports certificate holders were informed at an open house Sunday. Only member restaurants that accepted the certificates before payment stopped will be reimbursed. Former employee Julianne Carpinelli embezzled from the organization. She was ordered to pay nearly $150,000 in restitution, which she has been doing. The board says Tri-County was reimbursed less than a third of the $212,000 stolen during the 2 years before the embezzlement was discovered in July 2023. The association says it intends to resume issuing the gift certificates in the future. Stark County law enforcement agencies among the recipients of Ohio's body-worn camera grant program: Canton Police, the Stark County Sheriff's Office, Louisville Police, Walsh University, and Jackson Township Police will receive part of $4.4 million awarded to 131 agencies statewide. Fifth round of funding will help agencies purchase new body-worn cameras, upgrade existing equipment, improve storage capacity, and support record-keeping personnel. Authorities continue to investigate a small plane crash that happened Sunday in Portage County. Preliminary reports indicate the aircraft experienced engine trouble before crashing into trees near Ranfield Road in Brimfield Township. The 47-year-old pilot and his 12-year-old daughter were on board. Both sustained non-life-threatening injuries. The plane had departed from Wadsworth Airport and was returning when the incident occurred. We have the following funeral announcements. Service for 84-year-old Gary L. Courtney, Wednesday at 2 o'clock at Highland Memorial Park Chapel. Arrangements by Sheriff Sterling Skivalaki. Memorial service will be held Friday at 5 o'clock for 72-year-old Joel McKnight at the Alliance BPO Elks. Arrangements by Sheriff Sterling Skivalaki. 26 degrees at 5:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
This Q92 weather is brought to you by Grove Appliance Furniture and Mattress. Local, trusted, and family-owned for 90 years. With a huge selection of appliances, furniture, and mattresses to go with unmatched customer service.
Here's Mark Johnson's forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
29 degrees for your high today. Not really warm. No sign of spring yet. Mainly cloudy skies, maybe a flurry or two. Cloudy skies for the most part overnight. Our low 4 degrees. Bundle up. From the 3 News Weather Center, I'm Mark Johnson.
Rediscover the comfort of home with Grove Appliance Furniture and Mattress, your hometown spot for comfort, quality, and style. From sleek new appliances that make life easier to furniture that actually fits the way you live, Grove helps you create a space that feels like home. And with hundreds of fabric options, you can make it completely your own. Don't forget about their design center. If you're looking for a complete overhaul, they can help you with all of it, from cabinets and countertops to backsplashes and sleek appliances. Their local team takes time to find out exactly what you need. No pressure, no guessing, just honest advice and real service. And if you're upgrading on a budget, check out Grove's Scratch and Dent Room, where small imperfections mean big savings on top brands. Because when your home feels right, everything else just works. Grove Appliance Furniture and Mattress. Hometown comfort. Made simple.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Everybody on their feet love it. Peterson buries it. Wow.
Leonard dribbling around trouble. Leonard getting high in the air and throwing it down.
Well, they'll miss one every once in a while. What a slam. How making a difference since he came on. Hey, how about that? A lot of action last night on the hardwood NBA college hoops. Some good highlights there. Some crazy slam dunks in the Carolina game. Lonzo Ball threw one down for Charlotte last night. Canton native Darren Peterson was working his magic with the Kansas Jayhawks as they went into Lubbock last night and beat Texas Tech. Good stuff. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, everybody. AM 1310 WDPN. We got 1 hour to go, so let's make it a good one here. Phone lines are open. Ron Duff. Sam, did Haslam buy the Cavs? No. Ron, if you're listening, Jimmy is a minority investor in the Milwaukee Bucks. That's why he was asked a question today about Giannis Antetokounmpo. 330-821-1310 is our number. 330-821-1310. The phones are wide open for you today. You can always drop your comments on all of our WDPN social media platforms, on Facebook, on X, Twitter, Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Hey, while you're there, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It gives you alerts when we got something cooking. You'll be the first to know. You can jump in. Coming up at 5:29 today on this day in sports history. If you missed our Sammy's best bet tonight, we're rolling with the Buffalo Bulls tonight. Yeah, I hate to do it, but sometimes you got to go. I like Buffalo tonight, plus 5.5 at home against the undefeated 22-0 Miami Redhawks. We'll see how that happens. I'd love to see Miami win them all. I would. I'd love to see the Redhawks run the table. Get to the MAC championship game. There's that best bet on your screen if you're watching on the stream. A little bonus for you. I'd love to see Miami go all the way. Of course, being in Northeast Ohio, I wouldn't mind Akron or Kent. But this seems like one of those magical runs that Miami is in right now. Might not happen for another 50 years, so, take it as she goes. No moves during the break. No moves during the break. But it seems like the kitchen is getting hot. It seems like the kitchen's getting really hot for Harden and Garland. Like, I almost get the feeling it's just a matter of time. Now, got to keep in mind, Cavs and Clippers, if they're doing business right now, it is a little bit after 2 o'clock out west. Don't forget, these two teams play tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern. It's almost lining up to where they make the deal. And all that has to happen is James Harden leaves one locker room and goes across the hall to the Cavs locker room, and they switch. But I'm telling you, the closer we get to this, I don't know if I want to do this deal. There's been zero talk of Giannis today. None. Like, no trade talks, no rumors, no. I've been scrolling the internet here, all these NBA sites and podcasts. Nobody is talking about a possible Giannis deal. It's all Cavs Clippers, and it's all Darius Garland, and it's all James Harden. So, the way I think, my twisted way. If they're not talking about it, something's going on.
Big agree.
Right?
The way I see it, it's probably, I want to hope and believe that nobody's talking about Antetokounmpo because Cleveland was like, hey, listen, we're going to go get Harden and then we're going to work this out. Just hold on to him for a second. They were like, okay.
It's awfully quiet with the Giannis talk. That means something could be percolating. That's just my twisted way of thinking. But I think there's a little something to that. Let's look at the numbers here now. James Harden, 36 years old. 25.4 points a game, 4.8 rebounds, 8.1 assists. Darius Garland, as we speak, is out with an injury. He's due to be, I guess, reevaluated here pretty soon. Darius has not been able to be on the floor as much as you would like. Now, Harden also is going to turn 37 here, I think, in the next 3 or 4 months. What do you think? What do you think about because Garland's just a pup still. Garland's just a pup compared to James Harden, who's going to be 37. And what about the next contract? Harden's crazy enough, his agent's crazy enough to think he's going to get another 3 or 4 year deal. And probably something close to the max. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not again going to dip us into salary cap hell with the Cavaliers and their finances. That's another reason I don't think I really want to do this. And is James Harden going to come here knowing that the Cavaliers are going to probably say, nah, no extension here, bud. You might be on the move again. Or you may have the ability to be on the move again. Remember, he has a no trade clause. 25 points a game. Yeah, looks good, man. 5 rebounds. Okay. 8 assists. Yeah. 1.3 steals a game, and he's playing almost 36 minutes a game, which, at the age of 36, is pretty good in the NBA. Something's, when you get that voice in your head, or you get you play the game, you've got the angel on your right shoulder, the devil on your left, and they're each talking to you. There's a little voice telling me, don't do this. Don't make this deal. But has anybody talked to Donovan Mitchell about this? He is eligible to do something after next year. They got to decide if they want to re-up with Donovan. I would assume that that's the case. I mean, don't you want to lock Donovan Mitchell up for the rest of his NBA career? I do. And there's no way in the world you can do that if you're gonna bring Harden in and then extend him for another couple of years. You just can't do that. You're going to be right back in the second apron, and your hands are going to be tied, and you're not going to be able to make any moves. And that's just another reason I don't want to do this. It's fun to talk about it. It seems like it's maybe because it seems like it's going to happen. I'm really starting to get worried. If this was like talk in its infancy, like a couple of comments here and there, and maybe a source, but this is like the front burner in the kitchen is turning orange, kind of hot. And the fact that the Cavs are already on the West Coast, I almost just get the feeling that it's going to happen. Could they be working on some other stuff behind the curtain? Sure they could. Could they still be in contact with Giannis and his people? Sure they could. Wouldn't it be funny if LeBron was kind of calling the shots on this stuff from L.A., trying to weasel his way back in? Now, if you go get him, I'll come take the league minimum for you. I'll do that. Hey, anything is possible. Would you do the deal? Would you do the Garland for Harden deal? 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Drop your comments in the comments section. But there is a little voice telling me, do not make this deal. How do you feel? Am I nuts?
The devil on my shoulder just keeps whispering Antetokounmpo into my ear.
See,
that's all I can say.
I want to know if this is going to be a means to another deal. Then I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's the only way I'm okay with it.
Then I'm all for it. I mean, look at it this way. Would you rather have Donovan Mitchell and Giannis or Donovan and James Harden? Hello? That's a no-brainer. By the way, I just took a peek at Giannis's numbers. Just, 28 points a game, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, almost a block a game.
I know. I just looked up how old he is compared to him, too.
And Giannis is what, 30?
31.
So
he was born the same year as me. He'll be 32 this year.
No kidding. So that's a 5-year in the NBA. That 5 years is a lot.
That's a big 5 years.
That's like, but Giannis is in his prime. And if you were able to get him by the end of the next deal, yeah, he'd be done. But I think he's got 5 good years in him. I do.
I think he's got a lot of really valuable experience in him too.
He's already got a trophy, right? He's shown you he can lead you to a title. Hell, Milwaukee didn't sniff a title till he came along. Bucks couldn't get past the Celtics in the East for decades, even with all the great talent they had up there. Junior Bridgman and Sidney Moncrief and Brian Winters and all those guys. They couldn't get past Philly, and they couldn't get past Boston. They couldn't do it. Back in the days of the old Mecca Arena, they couldn't do it. Giannis got him a title, got him a chip. There's got to be conversations going on there. There has to be. This can't be just this Garland Harden stuff. There's got to be conversations going on behind the curtain. I got to tell you what, I have refreshed and scrolled on this phone more in the last 48 hours than I think since I've had it, which is 6 years ago. This poor phone. This phone's going to peter out now. You watch.
Oh man, mine too.
Watch, it's ready to go.
We're gonna have to place a bet on whose phone dies first because they're equally as old.
What are you working with over there?
Mine's at least 5 to 6 years old.
I mean, what's your what do you got?
It's a Samsung.
Okay, me too.
A something.
I got a Samsung Galaxy 10 Plus.
I got a Galaxy A, then some numbers. I don't remember the numbers.
But I know this thing is 20. I know this thing is going on 6 years. Which, okay, good testament to the product
for sure, absolutely.
But I'm just waiting for it doesn't hold a charge worth of crap. Like I'm charging it more than I'm using it. That's just what happens with these batteries. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you. I left my charger down in Otterbein last Saturday.
Oh, that's why you couldn't find it.
Yep.
Eesh.
Yep. Left it at Otterbein University.
Rest in peace.
It was a good run. Now I got to go buy another. So I've been using Jay's in the office when he's not there.
I know. I brought my sunglasses in here the other day and left them in here over the weekend, and I was certain that they were gone forever.
Yeah.
Can't leave. I can't take my sunglasses out of my car or I lose them.
What's the chances that somebody at Otterbein says, you know what, I think that was that idiot that had that purple hoodie on down here Saturday. I bet that's his. Let's try to trace it back to him and get a hold of him. Maybe we can mail it back up to Alliance.
I want to say 1 in a million.
Probably not, because you know what? If I see a charger sitting around somewhere for a while,
free charger.
It's right.
Yep.
all of a sudden, it's mine. All of a sudden, it's mine. Let's take a break. 25 minutes after the hour, 330-821-1310 is our number. You can text 330-924-7088. Don't forget the social media platforms. We'll take a break and come back. 1310 WDPN.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
How's Tommy doing now?
Much better.
You said it was asthma?
Yeah, he started with this cough and then he was wheezing.
That's terrifying.
Doctor said hidden triggers can make it worse. Things like dust, mold, even pests.
Pests?
Yeah, droppings and allergens from cockroaches and rodents can seriously impact children with asthma or allergies.
I had no idea.
We're making sure our home stays pest-free.
Don't let pests put your family's health at risk. Visit pestworld.org to learn more. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Whew, the heat just came on in here. And it's a good 85 degrees right now.
How could you tell?
It is throwing some heat.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
But I'm gonna remedy that. I told Rainsburg during the break I have my squeeze bottle, my water bottle, out in a snowpack, and I'm gonna go out and get that ice cold water, and I'm gonna fight the heat.
I know it's been so cold for so long. I think we could almost refer to that snow out there as like permafrost. It's going to take a month to melt.
Right? Hey, get ready, everybody. Friday looks like it's going to be quite the day. 40 to 45 mile an hour winds. They're talking 4 to 6 inches of snow. So just kind of be on the lookout there for Friday, Thursday night into Friday. Of course, Mark Johnson, our staff meteorologist, will keep us up to date on 1310 WDPN 7 days a week. It's what we need. Give us another 6 inches of snow and some wind chill at 30 below. That'll be fun. All right, today on this day in sports history, 1972, the first Winter Olympics in Asia were held in Sapporo, Japan. 1979, the Minnesota Twins traded Rod Carew to the California Angels for 4 players. Oh, Rodney Carew, he was one of the best. 1990, Darryl Strawberry of the Mets voluntarily entered an alcohol rehab program. 2001, remember this? The XFL debuted. The Las Vegas Outlaws beat the New York, New Jersey Hitmen 19-0. And the Orlando Rage beat the Chicago Enforcers 33-29. The XFL debuted in 2001. They were cooked by 2002. God, the XFL. And on this day in 2022, this is when the dynasty all began. The Patriots and the Rams met in the Super Bowl. Britney Spears performed the national anthem, and Mr. Adam Vinatieri sent the trophy home with the Patriots.
Here comes one of greater importance if he makes it. And it's right down the pipe. Adam Vinatieri. No time on the clock, and the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36. Unbelievable.
There was Pat Summerall, John Madden. They had the call, and so it began. And so it began. News and weather coming up next, 1310 WDPN.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. The House has passed a spending bill that ends a partial government shutdown that began Friday night. It gives lawmakers until February 13th to reach a broader agreement on Homeland Security funding. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy with more on what's to come over the next 10 days.
Ahead of the next funding deadline in a week and a half, Democrats will push for reforms at ICE and at Customs and Border Protection. Republicans will push for what's called the SAVE Act.
The SAVE Act just simply says you have to have verification of citizenship to register to vote.
That's how Speaker Mike Johnson's failure to reach agreement on Homeland Security funding could impact agencies such as FEMA, the Coast Guard, and the TSA. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
U.S. manufacturing gained momentum in January as factory output increased and business conditions improved. According to survey data released Monday, the Institute for Supply Management's headline measure of manufacturing activity hit its highest level since August 2022. S&P Global data showed output at U.S. factories grew at its fastest pace since May of that year. The S&P Global Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, rose to 52.4 in January from 51.8 in December. The PMI reading from the Institute of Supply Management jumped to 52.6 from 47.9, moving back into growth territory for the first time in a year. The Department of Justice opened a civil rights investigation after protesters interrupted worship at a Minnesota church January 18th. Church was targeted because one of its pastors has served as acting director of ICE's St. Paul field office. A live stream of the protest was posted on Black Lives Matter Minnesota's Facebook page, showing organizers interrupting the services and shouting, "Justice for Renee Good." 3 arrests were made on charges of violating the FACE Act, or Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. It prohibits the use of force or threat of force or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, or interfere with, or attempt to interfere with any person lawfully exercising or seeking to exercise the First Amendment right of religious freedom. The Coast Guard detained 3 suspected narco-terrorists in the eastern Pacific, northwest of Ecuador, preventing more than $33 million in illicit drugs from reaching U.S. borders. The arrests were made last week by the crew of Coast Guard cutter Seneca. The Coast Guard saying Thursday the efforts led to the apprehension of 3 suspected smugglers and seizure of more than 4,400 pounds of cocaine. It said in December it had seized more than 150,000 pounds of cocaine in the eastern Pacific, enough to create more than 57 million potentially lethal doses. Newly released FBI files showed Jeffrey Epstein was set to potentially cooperate with the feds in his sex trafficking case, with lawyers for both sides huddling 2 weeks before he died in jail. Federal prosecutors met with lawyers for the financier in July 2019 when his camp, quote, in very general terms, discussed the possibility of a resolution of the case and the possibility of the defendant's cooperation. Another document in the files references the same meeting with the feds, but notes defense counsel did not make a specific proposal and did not indicate what the nature of Epstein's cooperation might be, if any. 25 degrees at 5:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
A lot of clouds today, maybe a peak of sunshine here and there through the afternoon, a high near 29 degrees, maybe a flurry as well. Overnight, mainly cloudy skies, our low 4 degrees above zero. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
Jesse is a friend. Yeah, I know he's been a good friend of mine. But lately something's changed. It ain't hard to define.
Welcome back, everybody. 1310 WDPN, the Sam Bourquin Show. Just went outside to get my water bottle. Had it in the snow out there. Nice and cold. Plenty of daylight, too, out there, by the way. It's 5:35. There is plenty of daylight. We're getting there. I think we turned the clocks back here about a month. I think about a month and maybe a day. Boy, it seems like this trade is just imminent. Like any second. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. It breaks. We'll have it here on 1310 WDPN. What did you think of the Browns press conference today? Todd Monken met the media for the first time. Andrew Berry introduced him. Jimmy did a little sidebar, which I thought was interesting. When I say Todd Monken, what's the first thing that pops into your head? What do you turn it around? Winner, Much needed change, optimism, same old, same old. He'll be out in 3 years. What's the first thing that goes through your mind when I say Todd Monken, the former offensive coordinator with the Baltimore Ravens? He was called the plays for Georgia when they were winning their national championships with Kirby Smart. What's the first thing that pops into your head? We listened to the press conference today.
Is this one of those like psychology questions, like an ink blot test? Are you testing my brain?
Yeah, I'm being like Andrew Berry. I'm gonna make you take a test.
You're gonna give me an IQ test?
I just he wasn't like he wasn't a big part of that whole conversation leading up to when he was hired. It was all Scheelhaus and Schwartz. That's all anybody was talking about. Then like at the last hour, here comes Todd Monken. Now, and I want you to get that Jimmy Haslam cut ready. If you listen to what Jimmy said, like I told you was going to happen, he was our guy the whole time. He was the guy we wanted to lead this team, which is a bold-faced lie. But whatever. But what Todd Monken, what do you think he brings to the Browns what they need to move forward, and will he be able to work in these conditions day in, day out, morning, noon, and night, 7 days a week, with how that operation runs the show? I think Todd Monken's got a little bit of alpha in him. That might be to his detriment. I don't know. We'll see. Excuse me. We will see. Because before you know it, I'm talking about the clocks being changed in a month. March, April, May, June, July. Oh, boom, we're going to be there. We'll be talking about training camp. We'll be talking about the Hall of Fame festival before you know it. But is Todd Monken is he going to be the dude to turn things around? Here's Jimmy Haslam from his little sidebar press conference today up in Berea.
You go through a search process, and I think we started out with like 20, 25 candidates. I think we interviewed 9. I might be off by 1 there. And a search is, it's a little bit like this. It's a little bit of a roller coaster. Somebody drops out, somebody comes in. You get better references or better test results on someone or worse. So it's a little bit of a roller coaster. I would say Todd was at the top of the list the entire time. I think our search lasted 20 days, and I'd say he was in leading the pack or in the front pack the whole time.
Yeah, he was leading the whole time. Sure he was. I still can't believe they made these guys take tests and do homework and quizzes and personality tests. I can't believe, and I can't believe that they still believe that that's the best way to go about it because, that's what they've always done.
The goal of somebody like Jimmy Haslam having somebody else take a personality test is hilarious to me.
Yeah, on the outreach, yes.
The guy with no personality needs to know if you have a personality.
I mean, you heard, and we didn't play Andrew Berry because I couldn't stomach playing that for 8 minutes today. But he talked about it was like he spewed 8 minutes of analytics. Why they did this, why they did that, these test scores, these tests, this personality, this information. We reached out here. We talked to this person. We got information on that, and we put it all together. And they're so proud. And they think what they're doing is just like cutting edge, second to none, which is fine if it yields a winner. That's fine. I don't care. Football to me has always been about heart, desire, blood, sweat, effort, passion, excitement, camaraderie, feel in the game. I'm sure a lot of you notice if you've listened to me here lately or for a long time, I'm not an analytics guy. Not because I'm older, but I just don't think you can. I don't think you can intertwine analytics into football as much as you can, maybe baseball or some other sports. Football is, like I just got done saying, it's about passion and feel, toughness, situations that you can't, the old saying, you can't put a price on whatever. I don't think you can put analytics on a lot of things that have to do with football and the spirit of the game. You got to have a feel for the situation. Down and distance. Who's strong? Who's feeling better? Who's got the adrenaline rush? What's the crowd situation like? What's the weather like? I got a gut feeling on this, coach. I think you take the analytics and you stick them up, you know where. And it seems some of these teams are so proud of the millions of dollars they pump in to this analytics department. Look, I know the Rams have done it, but they've done it very well. They got a Super Bowl out of it. Right? They got Sean McVay, who they just extended with his contract, and his general manager. He gets it. He'd die to have Sean McVay on the sidelines in Cleveland. So it works for them. I just think we make so much out of the analytics part of it. And at the end of the day, when it doesn't yield the results that you want, maybe you better step back from that a little bit. Maybe instead of putting all your apples in the basket, maybe take a couple out. Maybe try doing things a little differently. Maybe use a little bit of more, quote, feel for the game. Baseball, I'll listen to it a little bit longer because there's a lot of different scenarios and situations and stats that maybe the analytics makes a little bit more sense. You know, we've always gone by what? Lefty, lefty, righty, righty. When to bunt a guy over, when to steal, when to hit and run, when to play behind the runner, when to steal a base, when to guard the line, when to move the outfield in, the outfield out, infield out, those kind of things. Football's different. Football's about, you know, it's just different. And if it's not working, then you need to change your playbook a little bit. I don't need somebody standing up at the podium telling me how great and how much time and effort is put into it and how much of the finances is put into it from non-football people that don't really know what's going on. That's just me. But I'm gonna stick to that. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Drop your comments on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Roger Goodell, our old buddy, commissioner of the National Football League, bringing in a boatload of money every year. He held his NFL State of the Game address yesterday afternoon, early evening out in California. Talked about a bunch of different topics, TV contracts, salary cap, growth of the sport. Of course, the NFL now is bound and determined to play in every country in the world now. He also talked about a couple of other things. One of them, Bill Belichick, and him, you know, getting snubbed and not being a first ballot Hall of Famer. Here's Goodell's thoughts on that.
Hey, Roger. Seeing the Seahawks and Patriots up here, I'm really tempted to ask you another Deflategate question, but we'll move on here. I believe you're on the board at the Hall of Fame. There's a report that Bill Belichick didn't get in this year. He didn't get induction. Curious your thoughts on Belichick not making the Hall of Fame. And a lot of the voters that have spoken out have cited Spygate. Do you feel, since you were the one who handed down the punishment, any responsibility on your part for Bill not getting in this time.
Well, Ben, your question may be a little misleading for everybody. Okay, so the Pro Football Hall of Fame is not in any way controlled by the NFL. We have no say in the voting process. We don't participate in the voting process. I think you know this, but I want to make sure that the question doesn't lead people to that conclusion. I think it's really an important honor, and it's something that should be done with a lot of clarity, a lot of understanding of what's expected of those voters. I'm not even sure I'm aware of it. I've never been part of that process. Our board does nothing more in the voting other than to approve the leaders of the media that participate in that. And it's a single vote. It's just, will you approve this panel of selectors? So we are not involved in it. Listen, Bill Belichick's record goes without saying. Same with the Patriots and Robert Kraft, who's also a candidate. They're spectacular. They've contributed so much to this game, and I believe they'll be Hall of Famers.
Funny he should bring up Robert Kraft. Did you see the story today? Robert Kraft snubbed. He will not be going in this year to the NFL Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Super Bowls turned that team into a winner when he took over. He's not going in this year. It's crazy. No Bill Belichick and no Robert Kraft, first-timers into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now, as I mentioned, Roger spoke on a lot of topics last night. Another question was asked of him about the Super Bowl halftime show. Now, Sunday is going to be, we don't do politics on this show. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Those of you who know me and have listened to me for years or decades or even weeks, you know where I stand. You know where I stand on things. But he was asked about Bad Bunny being the entertainment at this year's Super Bowl. This is what he had to say.
On your second question, I think everybody in listen, Bad Bunny and I think that was demonstrated last night, one of the great artists in the world. And that's one of the reasons we chose him. But the other reason is he understood the platform he was on, and that this platform is used to unite people and to be able to bring people together with their creativity, with their talents, and to be able to use this moment to do that. And I think artists in the past have done that. I think Bad Bunny understands that, and I think he'll have a great performance.
Roger Goodell, Commissioner of the National Football League. Now, Bad Bunny, that is not the only Super Bowl halftime show going on Sunday. As some of you may be aware, there is another one going on that Kid Rock is going to lead. And I may pose the question later this week. I may do it Sunday. We'll see. But I'm interested to see which halftime show you all are going to watch on Sunday. And I'll make it a poll question. And I'm going to add a third selection, a third possibility to it. And that's just going to be simply, I'm not watching any of the halftime. But we'll dish that out a little bit later on this week. But that's what Raj had to say last night out in Santa Clara, California. All right, courtesy of Chris Fedor on Twitter, the Cavaliers just finished up their workout at USC today. They will play the Clippers tomorrow night. Darius Garland is with the team. He did not practice because of his injured toe still, but he was working on some other things as part of the team activities today. So that's the latest on the Cavaliers there. All right, 51 minutes past the hour. We'll take our final break. We'll come back, and we'll wrap up things here on the Sam Bourquin Show. 1310 WDPN. Stay with us, everybody.
High school basketball is on AM 1310 WDPN all season long. Brought to you by SARTA. I'm Christian Bigglesworth, calling boys and girls action from around the Eastern Buckeye Conference, the Alliance Aviators, the Marlington Dukes, and the West Branch Warriors. And this year, listen live and free on the AM1310 WDPN Facebook and X pages and the Q92 YouTube channel. High school basketball, powered by SARTA on AM1310 WDPN.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them, epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation. Because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options. Be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready to act.
Do we want to get right?
All right, we're in the home stretch. We got about 6 minutes left to go. You want to sneak a quick phone call in? Let's go. 330-821-1310. Drop your comments on all of our social media platforms. Hey, don't forget. I did forget. Thursday night, the big reveal on the class for the Pro Football Hall of Fame coming up. Who's going to get in? Who's going to be part of the Gold Jackets this year? That'll be Thursday night coming up. I'm interested to see how big the class will be. We already know that Bill Belichick's not going to be in there. We know Robert Kraft is not going to be in there. I wonder how big the class will be. But we'll find out. We'll find out Thursday night. Well, that's one of the things that we'll be talking about on Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Don't forget, Friday, we are scheduled to be out at Jackson High School, as we'll be doing the show live there. And, of course, on Q92, Friday night, Federal League Hoops between McKinley and Jackson on Q92. And, of course, Q92radiosports.com. Tonight, Christian has the call. Northwest at Marlington coming up on 1310 WDPN. That's at around 6:45 tonight. So make sure you're tuned in there. And then EBC basketball Friday night here on 1310. And then we'll have Jackson McKinley over on Q92 Friday night. So that's what we got coming up this week. Oh, don't forget, holy smokes, Saturday at 1, big game in the OAC. Mount Union will take on Muskingum. 1 o'clock, you can join me and Keller with the call from the Mac Center. Saturday at 1 here on AM 1310 WDPN. Come on, Raiders. 18-2. I thought the rankings were supposed to come out today. D3 rankings. I did not see them. I'll have to check after the show's over. Hey, if you missed our interviews today with Chet Harper, head coach of the Alliance Aviators, and Josh Hose, the head coach of the Massillon Tigers, they will both be up in podcast. Excuse me. On our social media platforms tonight, a little bit after the show. So make sure you are checking that out. Somebody, the 25, 26, 26 Cavs. It's a group on Facebook that I follow. They just put out a big picture. It says potential 2026, 2027 starting five. James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, Jarrett Allen, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Holy smokes. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Now, I don't know if there would be a bench because of all the money you have tied up in those five. There's not enough basketballs. That would never work. That would never, ever work. So forget it.
The only one we need is Antetokounmpo. I want to see him in a Cavs jersey, man. I really do.
I do too.
Been wanting that for a long time.
I really do too.
Oh, can you imagine?
God, I wonder, like, we were talking about maybe the parameters of a deal yesterday where we had the Cavs, we had the Bucks, and we had the Nets, and we were talking about all the comings and goings, the draft picks, the swaps, the players. What if they're working on something completely different with some other teams today? Like, because they're going to have to bring a third team in to make it work financially. And maybe the Nets aren't going to be that team. Maybe it's going to be somebody else. And then you got the Garland and the James Harden talks going on. Cavs are busy. Those phones have got to be on fire. I just hope nothing happens at 2 o'clock this morning. I don't look, I'm a night owl. I'll stay up as late as I can. But if that alarm goes off at 6:50, man, and I know that's not as early as some of you get up, but that's early. When you're a night owl, 6:50 is early.
Yeah.
And I just hope nothing happens in the middle of the night. And especially when you're on the West Coast. I mean, midnight there is 9 o'clock here. Or 9 o'clock here is. So those are prime time business hours right there. So who knows what's going on? I just hope it doesn't happen while we're all asleep. Because you want to react immediately when something big happens like that. Hey, if I have to, I'll get up at 3 a.m. and I'll do a Facebook Live. Nobody will be watching, but I'll get up and I'll do it anyway. What the heck? All right, it is time to go. Did I miss anything on the sheet today? Best bet, broadcast, social media, top 25 hoops, Miami, LeBron, Super Bowl, halftime show, interviews, presser, Cavs, Monken, poll question. We got it all in with a couple minutes to spare. Thanks to Rainsburg. Great job as always. Thanks to all of you. Absolutely. We appreciate you each and every day for calling and texting and dropping comments on our social medias. We thank you for that. And we're going to do it all over again tomorrow right here at 3 on AM 1310 WDPN. In the meantime, as always, go Bucks, go Browns, go Guards, go Cavs. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.